Hello, everybody.
Hello. Sorry, I'm doing
Welcome.
some sanding.
Doing pretty good. How you guys doing?
I'm doing good. I'm so feel blessed to be here. I have a quick question. Can I start off with a question?
Nope.
Sure.
No, you're the one being interviewed. You can't ask questions.
I do want to start with I love the opening music to the show because we were actually talking to Eileen in the green room about the adult film she did with Clooney, and then that music seemed to just totally fit with that. I thought that was beautiful choice of music. Um, and what else do I want to say?
This
Um,
is going to be a fun show because
Oh,
I'm
I know what I
going to
want to say.
hold
I'm
back.
sorry. I know what I wanted to ask. I thought you guys had one of my co-producers, Adrian, as a host on here.
We do. She
She
just always runs a little late because of work.
Oh, well,
and
and
is
if, if
also
if you
running
know
late.
anything about her husband, he's like a big package to have to take care of. So that probably another reason why she's a little late. But I wanted to wish her when she shows up, I want to wish her a happy birthday because I know it's her birthday today.
I have not even been on Facebook or whatever, so I
It
did
is?
not even know it. I feel like such a horrible person right now. Shut up, Rich.
Well, damn. I didn't even get the notification that it was her birthday.
Well, then we will have to sing it for her when she gets here.
Y'all have fun with that.
Oh, Jeremy, don't sing.
Okay, I will.
Okay,
I
you
don't
have
sing
fun
either,
with
but I will. I feel bad if I don't. I mean, I
you.
wouldn't have a show if it wasn't for her and her husband. They do a great job co-producing my show, but I know that Zach, and I'm safe to say this because he's not here. Zach's probably. Can you imagine having to take care of him? So she's got her hands full.
Look, I could imagine taking care of Adrian.
Yeah, and that's another question. That brings another question to my mind. I want to ask you guys: Is it safe that you guys give her a microphone?
Well, he can mute her whenever he needs to.
It
And
depends.
I also have another question now, real quick. Oh my gosh, my I'm channeling my inner host like I do a podcast. Um, I thought we were supposed to be on here with a cast member of mine named Rich Valdes. I don't see him here on the panel. If it's that dude on the bottom right hand corner, I'm sorry, guys, that's not Rich.
That is one ugly dude that's trying to portray Rich.
That's not the Rich I
It's
know.
true. I will not disagree with you there. I am ugly when it comes to that.
Even with his he's not wearing his Chinese outfit.
No,
Oh,
that is the one and only Rich Valdez, who I love dearly, and Rich will tell you. If it wasn't for him, you guys would see me through the whole show that we're going to be on, sleeping and crying. That's all I do on the show is sleep and cry. And if it wasn't for Rich to keep me awake, that would have been not good. So
I can definitely tell you this when it comes to sleeping. I can join you on that one because I fall asleep on half of my investigations too.
well, I'll tell you something else. You guys can tell me to shut up anytime. I do tend to just talk a lot.
shut up.
Um,
That doesn't work, does it, Rich?
No, doesn't.
Well,
um,
here's the thing. This is why I enjoy having guests on this show because that gives the rest of us a chance to shut up.
I can save my voice for the next show.
well, I'll tell you something about that. I don't know if they caught me sleeping on camera, but I did doze off a lot. I don't travel well. I don't sleep well in a strange place, even though the hotel room was nice. I don't sleep well in strange places. And then they crammed in like 2 weeks, or like even maybe even a
More than two
month worth
weeks.
of yeah. Let's
A
say
month and a week of shows into like
one
from
week.
7:30 a.m. No, 4 days. So
Yeah,
less than a
yeah.
week.
We
But
were there.
7:30
Rich,
a.m. to 6:30 p.m.
It
and
was,
with 5 minute breaks in
and I'm
between.
an
And
old guy, man.
yeah, he is
It was
old.
rough. Yeah.
He
Rich, your
smells old.
better half, your better
Brad,
the pretty
no.
one is on.
Yeah.
Hey Jeremy, I'm gonna send you some pictures that Rich has sent me,
Okay.
and you can show the trailer. It will not kick
It's
you
on
out.
YouTube, so it can be played. It's no copyright infringement or anything like that. So it's cool. I checked with the producer.
The only thing that I got from you, Eileen, is that it just says Eileen forwarded an image, but nothing came through.
Oh,
Well, maybe you weren't meant to have the photos. Who knows?
that was her OnlyFans page. Sorry about
Yeah,
that.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've had talks about that too, haven't we?
Yeah.
Hey, Rich, I
Yeah.
know you or Shawn, whichever, if y'all want to send me or Jeremy the link, it's too deep in my stuff, and I figure it's probably right on top for y'all.
You know what? I think Jen could possibly send it to you.
Hey, Jen, I know you're the one that does all the work anyway. Send it to me.
That's not Adrian.
That is the ugly Adrian.
Oh no,
she's on a roll.
He
Wow.
showed up. He showed up to spy on me. I know his tricks.
I love the way that anybody has the way of calling me ugly when you got Shawn on this show. I mean, come on.
He came here to spy on me. I know that.
Okay,
Are we gonna get to say happy birthday to your wife, Zach, or not?
I hope so. You guys have fun. I'm gonna leave the country while you do that.
Eileen, it shows here that you sent 7 photos, but when I click on the chat, there's
7 photos, Eileen.
Oh,
I know.
Girl.
I was busy last night. What can I say?
Wow.
These are the kind of photos to make me.
Hey, producer Jen, can you send whatever photos you know that they would want?
Yeah.
Jen is Rich's producer, so.
See?
And Jen, just to be on the safe side, send 1 at a time just in case.
See, he's wearing
All right.
pants. He's
I'm
wearing pants, Shawn.
taking my passport and leaving. Hey, you all have fun.
Okay.
He's wearing his pants. Why can't you?
Well, it snuck up on me.
Well, because I told him he was on and he wasn't, and he had to.
Well, I live in Vegas. It's very hot here, and there's things on me that need to breathe.
Oh
I
my
need to get up
God.
to Vegas. I've got friends that live up there. You're not my friend, but I
TMI.
got other friends that live up there. I've got to go visit. There's the pretty Adrian.
Happy birthday.
Run.
All right, we're waiting for you to start singing.
Who's
Happy
singing?
birthday to you.
We're leaving it to you.
Happy birthday to you.
Yo.
Happy birthday, Zach, babysitter.
Sitter.
Happy birthday to you,
Yo.
my favorite
Thank
co-producer.
Damn. Go.
See,
Irene, yes, I am.
Are you what?
Irene was asking if I was wearing pants.
So, the story you missed backstage, I was chatting with Rich, and anybody knows me and Rich, I'm going to pick on Rich. Luckily, I wasn't picking on him hard. And all of a sudden, it says, "What time would you like me to come on?" And I looked at the screen. I'm like, "You're on. What are you talking about?"
No, actually, that was
No, I'm not.
before. That was before I went backstage, and then I went ahead since I got no answer from you, typical Eileen.
No.
I went ahead
I
and put myself in there, and I put in the backstage comments thing that you guys can only see. Hey, just letting you know I'm backstage. I'll be out
it
and
wasn't
about.
even you. It
Oh,
was it was him messaging me, but it was during your chat that he snuck in, so it was kind of like it fit in with our chat, and so I thought I responded to you.
OnlyFans,
but it was Rev
Shawn Whittington telling you he was there with no pants on.
And so I took a picture of the chair. He's like, "That's not my chair." I'm like, "Yes, it is." So he was getting dressed, and he thought he was on screen.
Oh,
it was Rich. I thought I was talking
with
to.
his thong.
It was Rev.
Thong. Okay.
And trust me, sometimes things happen that you just can't unsee. So there's no way this show would have not gone in a completely different direction, and we would.
I already got the mental image. Thanks. I like I said backstage, and I'll say it here. I need therapy now.
He can send the real pictures instead of your mental image.
If you say so.
Okay, I said
now these pictures are coming through.
Well, no, I send them individually now.
Oh no. Oh.
Yeah.
Adrian, how are you? I never get to talk to you anymore.
I'm good. I'm working 10-hour days now, 4 10s. And
no.
so it's like I get off at 6 and I run straight here.
Well, I miss you. Not that I have fun with Zach twice a week, but I miss you, and
I miss you
I know
too.
that you're working a lot, and so I'm just glad you look beautiful today, and
Oh, he
and I'm
lies
glad
to you well.
Well,
you're here.
if I can interject something here, I'm going to make you very, very jealous. I'm going to be seeing her in 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and I sense an event coming.
Yes, there is one, but that's not this one.
Now, Jeremy, aren't you going to be in Vegas for something for bowling?
Reno.
Reno. Okay.
I was in Vegas last year, and next year I'll be back in Vegas. But this year is going to be in Reno.
Linda, he's cooking. It's pork steaks tonight. Brad, I'll get a hold of you later.
And by the way, I'm not really ignoring everybody. Hello, hey Irene, hey Linda. Unfortunately, hey Brad, hey Shawn. You know, I apologize for not telling everybody. Hey,
And
you need to be on more to keep Adrian from threatening me, Brad. There's nothing going to keep me from threatening you. You already have your death wish. You're good.
so,
Hey,
so
other
what I
Red.
was trying to tell you guys before, what kind of show we're going to have, and whether, us being brave enough to give Adrian a microphone. How she is on the microphone really depends on whether we have Brad Webb in the audience or not.
So, looks like everyone's pretty much tuning in. So, Jeremy, would you like to introduce our guest?
Yeah, I did not get a chance to do that. Welcome, everybody, to an exciting episode of Supernatural Talk. We have just recently celebrated 1 year on the air. Yay! And we have Adrian and Eileen and the notorious NICK, who is still not here yet.
He's still jogging. He'll be here.
Yeah, we need to give him a Timex or something.
He's on a weight loss journey like some of the rest of us.
Yeah.
Hey, Eileen, Jen is asking if you
I was
got
giving her a thumbs up.
Oh, okay. All right.
What
I
just
messaged
happened?
her.
Yeah, I'm getting pictures onto the computer. Anyway, we have our special guest this week. They are 2 of the 6 stars of the upcoming TV series, The Legion of Exorcists. That is going to be a good show.
Yes. I can't wait to see it. I know all but one of the people on there, so it's like, let's get them on here too.
We will eventually.
Well, and I will say I have been pimping the show out to non-paranormal people.
Yeah.
And they are so excited. I mean, they're like, "Oh my gosh, this looks awesome."
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, my
even
boss is
outside
even going to tune in tonight so she can see what's going on.
We'll try to be good.
Oh,
don't.
Don't.
But,
She knows
with,
me.
With Eileen and Rev, I don't know.
She knows me.
I can't see me and Rev ever being in the same room together. People wouldn't get a word in edgewise, and they would all be just thinking we were probably being serious when we weren't.
And so that you guys would know, this show goes into so many different directions that even we don't see coming.
Yes.
Brad, there he
and to give you a great example of that, one time it was just myself, Eileen, and Nick. And we were talking about something, and I did not even notice this until Eileen called me out, said, "Hey, look at Nick." And I'm looking at him, and he ended up having to mute himself because he was laughing so hard. And I tried to unmute it so that the rest of the audience could hear him. I could not do it.
He fell out of the chair. What?
I don't think it was that episode, but yeah, he did do that one time.
Nick does some very off the wall, out of character things. It's not so
He
much off
does
the
some
wall for the
very
rest of us.
Nicky things.
He called one of our guests a bad word. We're in the presence of Shawn. We're not going to say that, but and he did not mean to call him that. He was reading something.
It was a Freudian slip.
Yes, he does.
Oh, that was Lynn. Yeah.
Yeah, he you can say boobies or you can say anything like that, and he'll go and start turning red.
So imagine poor little innocent Nick being on a show with me and Adrian.
He's been in person with me too many times. He knows. He's like,
He should be used to it by now.
So, do you want to show the trailer before everybody starts talking about the shows?
I'm actually bringing that up now.
Jeremy's boobies?
Can I ask another question real quick?
Oh,
Go ahead.
I know Adrian and Jeremy go to a lot of events. Do you guys have any plans to do like a live remote supernatural talk from any of these events?
Yes, for the one that coming up in August we do.
Very cool. I wish I could do that. That's
At
very
the
cool.
Abbey.
Oh, that would be very good.
The Abbey is one of the most amazing places I've ever been.
I have never done a location that is based on any specific religion, so this is going to be a really cool experience for me. I've never done a church, an abbey, or any location like that, so I'm looking forward to that one.
What's really neat about this, and I think Rich and I know Shawn will appreciate this, when they brought the monks in and they had a prison right up the hill there. It's a large hill. But some of the prisoners back there, it was like 30s and 40s and things like that. And they would have them do woodworking. And there was a lady that commissioned a prisoner because she came overseas from, I want to say Ireland, but I don't know for 100% that that's what it was. And she brought a piano with her. How, I don't know, but she brought it on the boat with her. She started living in this town, and the piano didn't work anymore. And so she asked him to make a table out of it. And this guy worked for over a year to make this table out of this piano.
Wow.
And they loaded it on the truck. They went to go, and it fell out. It broke to pieces. So here's
All that work.
this prisoner's just going, he worked a year. And he took it back and pieced it together. And it is gorgeous. But it's in the Abbey now. It was donated by her after she passed to the monks.
Wow.
And it's their table. And I didn't know this, and it's so neat. They have chairs on one side, chairs on the other. None at the head of tables. And we couldn't understand why. And the guy told us, he said, it's because God is at the head of the table. Nobody else is at the head of the table. And I thought that was just the neatest thing. And that room is the creepiest room that you in that place, except the basement. But it's a strange feeling of like being safe and then what's there. Because what's there is not friendly.
Okay. Before I show the trailer, I'm going to show the pictures first. So this one here is all of you guys.
Yep. Freezing well, at least I was freezing my ass off. It was cold there.
the one in the middle in the back, that's one ugly dude.
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
And I was
So-
there. I was there taking orders
Got it.
for egg roll and
Okay, so
Chinese
it's the
fried rice.
man top right that I don't know.
Oh,
That-
Scott. Big
that's
Scott.
Scott.
Shrek.
I've never even heard of him, but I can't wait to see the show.
Scott he's just a big love bear. Um, I'm gonna have to put you and him together, Adrian. You have to have him on your show.
Oh, I
He's
would
just
love to.
a friendlier guy and a more big-hearted person you won't meet. After Rich, a bigger-hearted person you won't meet ever, and he's just a joy to be around. So I'll have to introduce him to you. He's just really, really a cool dude. Well, he introduced himself to me the first time as Shrek, and I didn't get it. You know,
Oh,
I see him straight on like this, and
yes.
I didn't really get it. But then we were doing
I
a
did.
thing on during filming where he had to stand in front of me, and we walked into the church single file, and I finally got a look at the back of his head, and I realized, oh, that's why it's called Shrek.
If you
I,
shave his
I would love
mustache,
to meet him.
you
I
shave his
absolutely would
mustache and
love
beard
to.
off, that he would look exactly like Shrek. And I actually started laughing because I imagined him without the mustache and beard.
Oh,
And I was like,
no.
he called himself Shrek, and I was like, the whole time, because I'd look over when he'd start talking, I'd
Oh.
kind of like, okay, it's
Well,
Shrek.
I would think that he needs to have bigger ears, or at least sticking out more.
Well, Shrek
He's
has
one
ears
big
up here.
dude too. He's
Yeah,
he's a big
I was
dude.
gonna say, how tall is he?
He's big. He makes me look like a midget. I'm
He's
already
a handsome man.
yeah. He is. His church is, I believe it's Cross Point.
yes.
Okay.
Rich, is it Christian church or just Cross Point Church? I don't
It's
remember.
Cross Point, and they are, from what I understand, non-denominational Christian.
In Ohio, and
In Ohio.
yeah, you can
Yeah.
find him that way. And he's also Scott Johnson. He's got another like a fan page, like Rich has one. And
Scott is
first-
so nice. I met him
Everyone
on your
loves
show.
Rich and wants to be on his fan page.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with this guy here either. I'm not familiar with her either.
Rita, let me tell you about Rita. Rita is an amazing woman. She is so nice. I actually met her through Shawn as well, and she was nice enough to. I had a case, and she sent me what she calls Demaway, and it's different, like cinnamon and different, like it's a whole plethora of things. But you're supposed to be able to spray it and kind of keep things at bay for like children or yourself or whatever. But she did send that, and then she sent me the recipe, and she said, please don't ever sell it. I said, I don't sell anything unless it's, my crafts that I make. That's not something, I don't sell anything in the paranormal.
I actually don't have any details to pass on, but I know that her and her team are actually working a very ugly case right now as we speak. And I don't have any details on that case, but she had sent out a message this morning for prayer warriors to go into prayer for her and her team. So she does a lot of good work. Yeah, I love her too.
We will definitely keep her in our thoughts and prayers for her. She's an amazing woman, just wants the best for everyone. Bishop Long, I've known him for a while.
Yeah,
That's my mentor.
yeah.
And that's all I will say about him.
Just want to be.
No, Bishop Long and I have had, I've actually got his cell phone on speed dial if something happens. I mean, he's like, so, I know some of the people real well, but I would love to know. I haven't spoke to, Shawn, help me. What's his name?
Donnie, the one right to my right in the
Yes.
picture.
Yes.
Way to go, Donnie.
I had him on the show a couple of times. I thought I introduced him to you then.
Yes, but I haven't actually just like talked to him.
I should have wrote down the name of his church too. He just posted something beautiful today. He posts a lot of his sermons on Facebook Live, and then it's there for you to continue to go back and look at. But I should have wrote down the name of his church. He's got a very active ministry in his hometown where he lives, and he's just he's really a pretty incredible individual.
He is. I love his views. I watch him when he's on your show, and I love his views. He seems like a really nice guy. I've never talked to him personally other than hi, but
You
He
guys will
doesn't
love
talk
him.
much. He's one of the silent type, which is what caught on between all six of us. We we always just blame him. Yeah, just two because just to include him in to
Yeah.
our conversations because he'd just sit there by himself saying nothing, eating his food, and we'd be like, "Way to go, Donnie!"
So he's one of those when he does speak, you better listen.
Yeah, because it means something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what? Now I know that you are from Nevada. He is in Kentucky, but where are the rest of these four located at?
I'm not exactly sure what town the asylum is that let Rich out, but I don't really know
I
where
love
everybody.
you, Rev.
I don't really know where. I know Rich is sometimes in Utah, sometimes in Florida.
6 and 6.
I know
Yeah.
Scott's in Ohio.
Hmm.
Donnie is in the South somewhere, and I don't. I want to say Georgia, but I could be wrong. I
These
know.
think
guys in
he's
their
in
warm weather.
I think he's in San Diego, but he has family in Georgia.
Yeah, he bounces back and forth. His church
Yeah.
is back in the South, though. Um, Rita is Midwest somewhere, and I don't know exactly where, but Midwest.
I can't
And
remember.
then Bishop Long, I believe, Rich isn't he North Carolina?
No,
No,
South
he's
Carolina?
in no Louisville, Kentucky. Completely wrong state.
Oh, he's gonna kill me later if he's watching
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
I should have known that. He's my bishop. I should have known that. Yeah,
You're so bad, Rev. What are we gonna do with you?
I'm old. It is
Okay,
what it is.
so Nick, nice of you to join us after your run. How do you feel?
Feeling a lot better.
Okay, that's
I'm
funny because
sorry,
after my
Ray.
runs, I don't.
I've been going on an exercise schedule lately.
That's awesome. I'm so proud of you. I got a personal trainer, and I'm gonna tell you something. There ain't nothing that don't hurt. My little finger hurts. That's
Well, believe it or not, I mean, I was only able to really like by walking and jogging because earlier today I had another one of my migraines, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to do like my runs like I usually do at the park center. So and I couldn't even do the weights because I knew it was just going to trigger it back. So the best thing I could do was just walk.
Why are you getting those so often anymore?
It's a combination of different reasons. It's really bad, and this was one of the really bad ones this morning.
Go to the doctor.
That was the strip club, Brad. Oh my God! Shut up, Brad.
Oh, I love that picture.
What's going on here? Can you guys set up the scene for us?
Well, I couldn't make filming that day, so if you notice, they actually, it was very rare, and people are going to love it. They actually filling in for me in that scene is actually Danny DeVito. Either sandwiched in between Rich and Donnie. I couldn't believe they were able to pull Mr. DeVito in for that one episode.
That is awesome.
Nick, do you believe everything he says? Just because he's a man of the cloth does not.
I know. I'm just messing around. It's been a long day for me today.
Oh, you're not kidding. I love this picture. I would love. You know what? If you guys would like make posters of this picture,
that's a great idea.
I would love to have one of those.
I actually got this picture just going through the video. And I added actually all these pictures was really me. I ended up just copying them off the video, and I guess everybody else and their mother started using it because I figured we needed to start advertising. This is from the scene in the trailer where we all prayed in the round table, and Reverend Shawn Whittington actually led us in prayer. And
you just got called out on one.
What?
Jen says, no, I took the last one.
Oh, okay. Well, I originally posted them, but whatever. It is what it is.
What's really cool about this one here is that these two crosses, because of the pixelation, look like they're glowing.
They do.
Because everything else is so dark, aside from I'm guessing that's a candle back there, but with this room being so dark, and then you got the nice little shine on the guy's
Let
head.
me give you guys a quick shout out to the location. I've had so many people reach out to me, want to know where they built the set, and
Don't don't say the name. Remember, don't
we
say the
didn't
name of the location.
didn't build a set. It's actually a
An actual church.
stunningly, beautifully, breathtakingly beautiful 200-year-old Catholic church, and that's actually the altar that we're standing at.
Wow.
But
Yeah.
But yeah, Rich, y'all could use that photo as your promotional photo and
I was
like for
gonna say-
autographs and things like
Yeah,
that.
I'm telling you, Rich, if you will do that, I will
It's
buy it.
so
I promise.
professional.
I'm still waiting on my Rich's autograph. So I mean,
This
because it's so
actually looks
famous.
like a painting as it is. It looks like somebody painted this.
It does. It's
know.
that is a beautiful picture.
Very, very artsy.
It's called screenshot. That's
yes,
what I
but
did.
it's still a beautiful picture. Nobody needs to know that. Just it's a beautiful picture. And you know what? That's something. You know what? That's something we could do. Oh, Rita, look at her.
That was, I think, the just the day that we were all leaving. We had just finished filming. Either help me out here, Rev.
you know
Was
how I
this
know
April?
it's actually a morning. How I know it's a morning shot is because we would get home after filming. It would be dark, so that's us
Right.
getting ready to jump in the cars to be taken to the set. And
Dennis told you I
that
let
was
know-
another day that I couldn't make it, and they had Mr. DeVito filled in for me on that shot too.
Okay, Rev. You're always going to be Rev. That's just all there is to it. That sticks. Please explain to me why you and Bishop Long have your crosses in the pocket. What's the meaning of
I was
that?
going to ask that too.
Well, his is an actual traditional crucifix with a chain. I'm actually wearing a very powerfully blessed rosary that was made for me at the Vatican, and it both his cross and mine hang so low, like down to our stomachs.
Okay.
If you don't drop them as you walk around, occasionally you don't put them in your pocket, they're always banging into things and getting caught on stuff. So unless we're sitting somewhere stationary and you're walking around, it's best to just take your rosary or your crucifix and drop it in your pocket.
I'll
Okay,
give you
okay.
the truth behind it. It's supposed to actually go over your heart.
Oh, very good.
Okay.
That's why Bishop puts it
Okay.
in his
Okay.
left pocket, and that's where it's supposed to be, over your heart, to protect you.
That makes
Very
sense.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Gosh,
Rick,
I cannot
You
believe
know,
how
come on,
good you look.
Rev. You should know this by now.
I
You're being mentored.
I know I'm going to get in I am constantly
You-
being put in time out by
You're
my
s-
bishop because
Dude, you're sitting there in your underwear and saying and lying that Danny DeVito was there on the set, and oh, the chain is so long, I gotta put it in my pocket and stuff. For real, man, you know.
Oh my God.
No.
Dare say that if DeVito was wearing that thing, that the bottom of that would actually be dragging on the floor.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
Shawn,
what she said.
I don't. Anyway, I don't get to talk to Bishop Long hardly anymore, just because he's so busy. But let him know he looks amazing. He has done a 360, well, 180. Here we go. Let's try this. It's been a long day. He looks amazing. He really does, and I'm very proud of him.
He really
We all
needed
are.
to. He had to have the
Yeah.
surgery
Right.
to help him lose the weight. He was having a lot of health issues, and
That's last I talked to him.
yeah, and at that time I was very concerned because you know those type of surgeries can go one way or the other, and I was keeping in touch with him. He's still in my prayers, but that man, older than I am, does 5 miles a day. Okay, walking, and God bless him. I mean, he sticks to his diet. He eats what he's going to eat, and he's constantly doing his 5 miles. Actually, he got ticked off when we were on set. He's like, I haven't walked in 2 days. I got to go for my walk. And ironically, at this hotel that we were staying in, it was right across the street from a convention hall where I don't know if it's a stage set, I guess a stage set where they film America's Got Talent.
Oh, really?
And while he was walking, he crossed the street, and guess who he ran into?
Not the jerk.
Well, I'm not going to call him the jerk, but his name escapes me right now. Simon Cowell. He ran into him, and he kept saying, "Oh, it was great to meet him." He shook his hand and whatnot, and he came back and he said, "I never realized how short Simon Cowell really is." But
I hope he was nice, because all I see out of him on the shows is when he's a jerk and I click it off. Done.
You know, he's actually said he was very, very nice and cordial with him, and yeah, you got to also remember that that's part of his character.
Yeah.
You know,
dang it.
He's showbiz. Hey, put Zach's comment up. Jeremy, put Zach's comment up.
I got
No, it's the rebel know what he's talking about. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that would be a wonderful idea for his suicide show. Yeah, that would be cool.
He does a thing for veteran suicide. It used to be 22 because it was 22 a day, but that was in like 2019. Now it's up way up. And so he does things for veterans.
So
But no.
what's interesting about this picture is, aside from the fact that all 6 of you look like you're dead tired.
Right. And that's what I was thinking about Rita.
Yeah. All but Rich look like they're about ready to go into church and do a sermon.
I was about to say, I love that Army of Darkness shirt that he's wearing.
Yeah.
I
Well,
agree.
you know,
I love that movie.
You know, there's a story behind me, and quite frankly, when we were all being interviewed, one of the things that I had stated was demonologists don't normally wear, you know, a collar or any kind of uniform to identify ourselves as demonologists. It's never been done. And I said, we wear button-down shirts, jeans, and that's it. We're pretty just, you know, run-of-the-mill normal people, and we just work for the clergy. But I guess a producer decided, no, you must wear this blue shirt and look official. But yeah, when I started realizing, I saw the how I looked on the what's it called, the preview or the trailer, I started making fun of myself, and I said I look like I work at a Chinese restaurant ready to take someone's egg roll and you know, Chinese fried rice order.
You know what, though? You're genuine. You're not out there trying to present yourself as anything. You're genuine. And when you go out there to do what you do, it's because that's what you do.
Yeah.
I mean, I wear my pajamas to work, and I still do what I do because I work from home. So, you know, I mean, it's not the dress, it's how you do your job.
See, that was another thing that Eileen was talking about, because of me having a go at it with the banners and everything. I kept asking, okay, what is Rich's title? Because I got Rev for the Rev, and I'm like, well, I don't really want to do that and then put just Rich down, because if he has a title, I don't want to leave that out. So I had to wait on her to let me know, oh, he doesn't have one.
Lauren,
I have titles for him other than demonologist, but I can't say them on air.
Probably not one you'd want to see on a banner, though.
can we since we have our guests on the show and people are used to asking questions, let's put Brad's.
Yeah.
I hate to say it.
Yeah, here's Brad's.
What is your take on people classifying everything as demonic, or them always? Okay, I know where that question's coming from.
Yeah, I do too.
Yep.
And I really want to hear the answer to that.
Yeah.
I'll let the older guy take over. Go ahead. Age before ugly.
That seems to be the in thing now.
Yeah.
And that's funny. He beat me to it. I was going to say that's a demonologist question right there.
I
It
could take it if you want, but it's up. I'm
just
giving you.
my humble opinion, and I don't, trust me, I don't know anything. Is it's just right now the in thing, and it's a shame because uh, demonic possession and exorcism is such a off the charts, over the top, serious subject matter that
Right.
it's a shame to see people, do take it in that direction. But it just seems to be the in thing right now for a lot of these people to behave that way and talk that way and shows to go that way.
I yeah.
My take on this is the whole purpose behind this show was to gather together actual individuals that are theologians. This is when it comes to, and if you could put the question up again, if you don't mind, if you can
Yeah.
put it up. Um, okay, I have a question for the guests. What is your take on people classifying everything as demonic or them always getting possessed? Okay, here's my response. Um, when it comes to things involving demons, possession, attachments, oppression, stuff like that, that is not paranormal. Let me direct everyone this way. That is theological. It is not paranormal. And people need to start understanding that theology has nothing to do with the paranormal. What has happened over the years, unfortunately, is that a lot of shows have actually blended the two. And that in itself is where the confusion exists. So, in other words, when you have a team that a paranormal team that happens to have Bob as their resident demonologist, I'm going to give you a few things you can ask to see if Bob is really a valid theologian, formally trained by an actual clergyman, and is recognized as a demonologist. So the first question that should be coming out of y'all's mouth is, you're a demonologist, right? Yes. Okay. So who mentored you? And if they can't answer and they say, well, I kind of like read this book and I'm now a demonologist. Okay. So what church actually are you working under? I haven't been to church since I was like 8 years old. Okay. So the correct answers are not being given during these questions. Someone asks me, I've been trained by 3 different mentors, recognized by 2. Unfortunately, my first mentor passed away after 2.5 years. He was very old. And then I had to find some other church and another mentor. He finished my mentorship as a religious demonologist. Then for many years working with them, and recognized by their church, I met Bishop Long back in 2010. He made me administrator for his paranormal clergy, which I now run and own. But he was also training me and mentoring me to be a religious demonologist for the United States Old Catholic Church. And now, if that question was asked to me, I'd be able to come back with, okay, Frank Marzullo, Pastor Frank Marzullo, Pastor Leon, and Bishop James Long are my mentors, and you can call them up and ask. And what church are you under? And I can say the United States Old Catholic Church. Okay, that validates who I am. I am recognized by that church. I am certified by 2 churches. But when you have Bob, who doesn't know what you're talking about, that's where the confusion comes in. This show was created so that people could start understanding there's a difference between what you've seen in other shows and are now going to be presented with the real deal, the real individuals like Reverend Shawn Whittington or Bishop James Long, Scott Johnson, Donnie, and Bishop Rita Strugala and myself, who have actually gone into cases.
Excuse me.
God bless you.
Bless you.
Who have gone into actual cases of possession, infestation, oppression, attachment, and so forth. And this is how,
Excuse me.
bless you.
Sorry.
And that is the difference between this show and other shows. But at the
So-
same time, I don't want people to feel that this show is excluding anyone. We're trying to include people and let them know that this is how this really works.
So with that being said, and say, you do have a demonologist coming and they're giving you these names and say, I don't know Rev, and Rev is, their mentor. How would you go about finding out that all that is 100% legit?
They should contact Rev.
But how do we know? I mean, that's what I'm saying. How would we know, and I might be getting too deep, that Rev is legit himself?
Well, there should be certifications and diplomas and whatnot that show. I mean, I have
Okay.
one. I could go get one if you need
Okay.
it, but that should be present. In fact, I have one that I carry with me in my briefcase. That's a card. I feel like when I do that, I feel like the chick in Fifth Element, multipass.
Okay, but
Okay.
there is other, to make sure that someone's not just feeding you, because there are people out there that will feed you a crock.
Oh yeah, and I totally agree with you. And I've seen them. I've met them. The thing is when they can't back it up with, okay, well, I'll give you the number to my pastor or my bishop or the priest or the church that I work for. That should be a red flag. If they're not offering that, if they're not forthcoming and they
Okay.
can't have someone back them up on their claims, that should be a red flag.
So that they should, if they get offended by you asking questions, that's a red flag, because you should appreciate that someone's asking questions to make sure that you are legit.
You know me by now, Eileen. I'm going to say
Do
it
I?
again. Yes, you do, because I've been on your show several times. But let me just say this. Let's say you have had a headache for a month. Are you going to go to a neurosurgeon or are you going to go to a proctologist?
Well, if it's
Good
about,
I know that
question,
one. I
Rick.
know that one.
You know that one? Okay.
I know that
go
one.
Go ahead, Rev. Go on.
I know that one. You would go, well, we know who I'd go to.
A proctologist. So
knowing Rick,
I'm just
if
kidding.
I had a headache after talking to Rich, I'd probably go to a shrink. But go ahead.
But you know what? The answer, of course, would be you go to a doctor and he's going to refer you to a neurosurgeon. They're going to do CT scans and whatnot to find out what's going on. Now, you're going to make sure that this person is certified. You're going to make sure they are the real deal, that your insurance, they actually take your insurance and your insurance recognizes them as such. So that is pretty much, I'm using an analogy.
I know.
So that in itself is the best way to describe it.
I can't be serious with you for more than a few minutes. We know.
Oh,
that.
well, that's your problem.
There's lots of problems with her. We already
Yeah, I know that.
Shut up, old lady.
Look at that.
Whoa!
So
Shots-
this exorcism thing, guys, we need to work on her.
Shots fired.
So-
Oh, Lord.
I do have another question here. First of all, I'm going to bring up.
This one right here, Jeremy.
Oh,
Oh, I thought it was one from the chat.
so I'm gonna bring this back up here. So, are all 6 of you from a different denomination of whatever faith you guys have?
Rev, you want to take this or me?
Well, it's all Christian based.
Yeah.
And that pretty much says it all. Of course, Bishop Long who's now my bishop. He's Catholic. I'll let Rich say what he wants to say his belief system is from. But Pastor Donnie's Christian. Minister Scott is Christian. Rita Strugala is also, her church is a Catholic church denomination. And then I was originally ordained through an exorcist association and a Christian university, but now I have been accepted into the seminary for the United States Catholic Church. So, and I was baptized Catholic. So my religious belief system has always been deeply rooted in Catholicism.
Catholicism, well, when it comes to Bishop Long, he's with the old Catholic faith. It's not the Roman Catholic faith. So I'm going to make that distinction there. When it comes to Scott, or Shrek, as you guys have already come to know him, his, from what I understand, I believe to be non-denominational Christian. Myself, I grew up being trained in churches that were non-denominational Christian and trained to be a religious demonologist, not to do exorcisms. And that's another myth I have to pretty much break up there. Religious demonologists are trained to basically check out what's going on, report back to the pastors, and they come in and take care of whatever needs to be taken care of if there is something there. But we are also trained to do deliverances, which is a huge difference. We use prayers versus the old Catholic Church and the Roman Catholic Church, which uses the minor rite and solemn rite of exorcism, which is specifically reserved just for the Catholic faith.
Okay. So if, let's say, somebody calls you, and I know how Bishop Long's works, but is yours any different? Like, if somebody calls you and says, I think I have a demonic case, and I think this person's possessed, of course, you're going to back out at that point as an investigator, because that's none of your business anymore, because we can't handle that.
Well, if I'm investigating a paranormal case, because I'm also a paranormal investigator. Actually,
Right.
I was a paranormal investigator 2 years before I started my training to be a demonologist. And I start noticing that there are shades of something that would be considered to be demonic. I am then to start addressing this as a demonologist. So I take one hat off and put the other one on. And I then have to take notes of what's going on. I report back to whomever I'm working for at the time. Okay. And in this situation, it's still Bishop James Long. And that's when I go ahead and tell him, listen, started off as a paranormal, but it's looking more theological. Okay. I may need you to keep me in prayer and do mass for me. He does that before, during, and after when I go back to do testing as a demonologist. Once I do the testing, if the person fails or passes, if they fail, I then have to write a report where they failed, send it to clergy. They then decide what to do.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. How do you determine whether you need to go in full force and actually do an exorcism or...
I back out. If anything, at worst case scenario, if Bishop does not have the availability of another priest, he would then designate me to come in and assist in an exorcism. But I am not formally trained to do a minor rite or solemn rite of exorcism. I, on the other hand, am formally trained to do deliverances. Huge difference.
What's the difference between...
That's what I was going to ask.
Rites?
If you want, you can take this one. I feel like I'm hogging the whole airtime, but
oh no, not at all, brother, not at all.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, brother. I'll jump in after you.
The solemn rite and also the minor rite are specifically written in Latin, and they were designated and formed just for exorcisms. The problem is that it is only reserved for the Catholic Church to use. So if you see someone that's using what seems to be like the minor rite, solemn rite, and they're not even, recognized by a church, they more than likely rip that off the internet. And unfortunately, that's usually what ends up happening. But that's when it becomes dangerous because they're not formally trained to do something like this. When it comes to a religious demonologist like myself, back against the wall, and I've had that happen to me, to where I'm nowhere near clergy. And let's face facts, being a paranormal investigator, I know what it's like when you're like, ooh, I saw a church 2 blocks down the road. Could you please, go over there and see if they're willing to help? And you know the answer. They're going to say, nope. That's usually what happens. This is why it's so dangerous. This is why this show, the Legion, I'm being reminded here. Eli Roth presents the Legion of Exorcists, and that in itself is, and might I add, Eli Roth was a great guy to me. I mean, he was there the last day of filming for pickup shoots, and yes, I did get his autograph, and I got an autograph for Jen because hey, he's the new Alfred Hitchcock. But I digress.
He is.
That in itself is the problem that has persisted even to this very day, that if a paranormal investigator actually goes to the church and they say, hey, look, I think this person may be demonically possessed, they immediately turn you away.
Right. Yeah. And that's what we've run into. Of course, me, I've only been a paranormal investigator for going on 4 years now. I'm not going to go out there and try to, obviously do anything like that. I am just now learning to do house clearings. I'm not trying to go out there and do some demonic, no. But I do know, and Bishop Long's really the only one I've ever spoke to about this. There has to be a checklist, and like you said, find out if they're really in need, or if they're really, for lack of a better word, needing medical care.
Yes.
We run into that a lot. My last 5 cases have been nothing but need medical care. And
that is the atypical thing, and we have protocols with the church.
Right.
Protocol immediately if someone is claiming to be possessed. First and foremost, how do you know you're possessed? When you're possessed, you're not all there. And Reverend can back me up. They lose track of time. They started off in the kitchen. Somehow they're at some store and they don't even know how they got there. That is demonic possession.
Right.
And when they come at me or Rev or anyone else in our group, I'm possessed. Well, how do you know you're possessed? Tell me. And oftentimes, come to find out, because our protocols have always been, someone claims possession or demon or whatnot, they need to be interviewed by a mental health professional.
Right. And that is actually part of our investigations. If someone, that's part of our questionnaire that I'm part of things. Jeremy, we've got a questionnaire. One of those is, what medication are you on? What is your psychiatric evaluation? Are you taking the medication for that psychiatric evaluation?
Yeah, we got some pretty invasive questions. I still feel like it's not quite as thorough as it should be, but it's pretty thorough.
I think some of it, to me, when I go in and investigate, it could be just a spirit. So what? It's a spirit. Great. They might think it's worse than that because that spirit's going to mess with them.
Right.
And that spirit might be their ex-husband. And it's going to come out as, teeth jagged and,
belligerent. As you were in life, so shall you be in death. It's much like, case in point, I'll use this as an example. When I had the mental health professional that I work with do an eval of Eileen, she said, "Oh, she's crazy. You got to lock her up." And
I escaped.
Excuse me?
I escaped.
I know. And that's the problem. We've been trying to look for you, but now we know you're back.
No,
I knew he was going to bring this up.
I have a question. So, okay, so they do the psychic valve. Now, and I know you and I have talked about this, Rich. I'm just bringing this up for the show. So they felt, they're schizophrenic, they're whatever, but doesn't mean that they still are not possessed, or it doesn't mean they're still not whatever. How do you go about at that point to separate the two, to make sure it's not a medical, that it is actually?
Rev can actually take this one.
My answer is going to be very boring. And what happens is when someone reaches out to me, I send them an intake form. Always send them an intake form. And here's the thing. It's a long form, and I require that everybody in the household sit down together as a family unit fill out this form together. And it may take them 2 or 3 hours to fill out this form, get it back to me. My wife and I then read the form together. We discuss, we talk. I've already usually had one phone interview or maybe a Skype or a Zoom interview with the client. Now I'll go and have a second phone, Skype, or Zoom interview with the client and go over the intake form. Now, here's the sad part, and I agree with Eileen. I do believe, and I run into situations all the time where I am dealing with a person who has been clinically diagnosed with a mental illness and they're under the care of a physician. At that point, I can't proceed for legality reasons. I can't proceed any further. And I have met many people like that I do honestly believe and feel in my heart of hearts that the demonic is present and attached to them. But the sad thing is you can't proceed beyond that point. Now, I have never had a person come
Happy
to
birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear baby. Happy birthday to you. Show.
Thank you.
You're a little bit late on it, Jeremy.
Brad, you're done now. Oh, that looks good.
That actually
Yeah, that does look
actually
good.
startled me a little bit.
Yeah,
Hey, at first, I was like, what the heck is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was too.
I jumped a little bit there.
Got
Okay, continue on.
Well, that was Adrian's husband and my co-producer telling me it's time for the Rev to shut up. I know how to take
no,
a
it
hint.
was not.
Well, and see, sometimes I would think that people with mental illnesses would be more prone to an attack because, of their mental illness. That's what I would think.
I agree 100%.
And I'm actually worried about that myself because of Angelia. Because I do know before I'd be like, I think she sees my mom. So if she can see my mom, what else can she see? So
I'm gonna tell you, I think you're right. Simply because, I have one, and they have no filter. They have no. You can tell them all you want that there's nothing there. You can tell them they're not comprehending there's nothing there. They see what they see and they're like, you know what? You can forget it, because in your little world, that might be true for you, but in my world, it's not. And we had that issue with where I came back from the last time it happened. And yeah. So, and that's what I've been putting this out there for a while now. So I'm glad it's being addressed. I really wish there was some kind. We have a friend who does. She used to be. I can't even think now. These guys mess me all up. She transported dead bodies. Coroner. There we go.
Yeah, coroner.
And I have a friend who was a coroner, and she is now doing testing in an actual college facility where conscience lives beyond death, and actually doing it scientifically. Okay, great. That's wonderful. That's a huge step in the paranormal field. But
yeah,
when are we going to get that step in the paranormal field where, and in the medical field, where they can separate, somehow diagnose the difference between schizophrenia and an attachment, an oppression, possession? There has to be, because most of my cases, unfortunately, they are diagnosed with schizophrenia. And at that point I go, I don't know, because I don't know what you're really seeing, and I don't know what's really there. Is schizophrenia really something trying to get at them? Or is schizophrenia really an illness where you see things that
I think Rich has that answer. He's
Please
been a
tell
good
me.
little boy.
It-
He's been a good
it-
little boy.
Somebody was asking that earlier in the chat too. So yeah, right here.
Yes. Schizophrenia, bipolar, split personalities disorder, which I know it's been called something else. It's always changing. It is possible to actually have mental health issues and still have an attachment or possession, but that's where you really have to be careful. You can't just jump and dive right in, because if, let's say, this person does have or has been diagnosed with these illnesses, you have to make sure A, they're on their meds, B, they're going through therapy, and C, you have to be mindful of the fact that you do not want to go in with full-fledged exorcist mode and whatnot, and run the risk of even them having meds in their system run them over the edge and have them have a psychosis. That's where it becomes very, very dangerous, and it is a liability. In fact, I know for myself, I know for Bishop Long, we have liability forms that every single person that we have to work with when it comes to theological issues like this have to fill out, as well as their legal guardian or husband, wife, whatever it may be, just to be on the safe side. That being said, yes, it can happen. It's not a rare thing. It happens more often than I'd like to admit, but yes, it does happen.
Now,
So
there is something that you mentioned earlier today about the rights, given the proper rights, and then there are some people out there that just get rights from the internet. For those of us who don't know, how can we tell the difference between the real thing and the fake thing if we've never actually been experienced to any of it?
Rev, you want to take this or me?
Now, exactly what do you mean by that question, Jeremy?
So, like he's talking about when you're doing the proper rites on somebody, and then when for the exorcism, and if somebody comes in who is not formally trained or trained, period, and they just get something off the internet and start using those rites, how do you tell the difference between this is the real deal and they're just bullshitting you?
Well, usually in my experience, the person immediately gets chewed up, spit out, and things to end very ugly during a legitimate possession. If somebody who's not trained to perform an exorcism comes in there and tries to fake it, they pretty quickly, and people that are there usually assisting, usually everybody gets spit up, spit out, chewed up, beaten up, and thrashed about, and it turns out very, very ugly very quickly. So that's usually been my experience.
To back up what Rev just said, he's correct. People that are self-proclaimed exorcists, priests, or demonologists, and they go in and they perform the minor rite or solemn rite of exorcism that they just grabbed off the internet and have no formal training whatsoever. Yes, they get, chewed up and spit out. And also, the most dangerous thing is not wishing any harm on anyone, but you get, that's what you get when you do something like that. It's ill, very bad thing to
If
do.
if I could actually comment on that, I mean, obviously I've studied a lot. I've never took part in it, obviously, but I actually was a witness to something like that a couple years ago to a residential property. And originally it was supposed to be just a simple like sage blessing. I mean, that was it. And I'm not going to mention any names or anything like that, but we believe, and I swear to God that, because I know I was looking at things carefully, making sure there was again, nothing, that could have caused the reactions or whatnot. But this, to me, it looked like pretty much a legitimate possession. And these guys thought they knew what they were doing, when this was all occurring. That actually kind of scared me more than the actual act itself because of how potentially dangerous it could be. So I never did anything. I just happened to watch over there. But even I thought at that point, then this is going too far. You know, we're not trained for this. We may have some knowledge about it, but we've never actually been trained on this kind of thing. So it was scary. And I mean, he never lashed out or attacked, but it could have happened if it wanted to.
You know, the one most important thing that was taught to me throughout, I'd say 9.5 years of formal training that I got collectively. This is more psychological warfare than anything else. It is spiritual warfare if it's the real deal, but the what happens when you are actually engaging something demonic or plural demons, it becomes psychological warfare. They are trying to psychologically get into your head through fear. They know things about you that you've never told anyone at all, and they will use that against you.
Right.
And it's to rattle your cage. If they rattle your cage, the worst emotion that you can actually throw out, which is really an energy, is fear. They feed off of fear. Okay, these are, to me, they're nothing more than parlor tricks that they use to gain access to you. They know it's not you. Like, let's say I'm going to use Rev as an example, and he goes in to do an exorcism. Who do you want to attack? Because it's not Rev that's going to cast that demon or demons out. It's what he brings with him.
Right.
He is the vessel. Through him works his faith in God and Christ and the Holy Spirit. They are trying to destroy the vessel so that he can shut up, basically. And that's how they work. So they will use all of these things against you at all times. One of the things that a formally trained exorcist or demonologist will do in a worst case scenario is you will always try to gain the name of said demon so that then you can cast them out. They're not going to give you their real name. If they say, oh, my name is Twix or Snickers, guess I'm creating, Twix and Snickers. But,
okay, thank you, Rick.
But yeah, you're welcome. Anytime.
I have
But
a cake there, evidently, but some of us didn't just get delivered a cake to us.
It is what it is. Hey, happy birthday. She deserves it. And you know what? Don't ever go off of the first, second, third, fourth, and on and on and on. It's when you have them on the ropes that they actually may give you their name. And even then, you may have to go more than once, back and forth. I've heard of exorcisms that have lasted 20 years.
Yeah.
Well, you can also
what a life.
Can't you have
I've heard of a few cases like that.
Can't you also have just some like mean spirits out there that want you to think they're more than they are, to just throw a name out there as well, just to make you think they're more than they are? Does that make sense?
Yeah. That is possible. I've seen cases where there have been human spirit possessions, but they're very rare and far and few between.
Well, not even possessions. Like if you're doing, as an investigator, if you're doing an investigation and someone does come out with a known demonic name and say, hey, who are you? And they say this name, you're like, but it could just be just a jerk just messing with you.
Well, one of the things that was trained to me was, and it's biblical, is to always test the spirits. It's a verse. And there's a reason why it's said to test the spirits. Notice it says spirits. It doesn't say human, inhuman, angelic, demonic, anything like that. It says spirits, plural. It could be human, it could be inhuman, but this is oftentimes where the training comes in handy, because if you don't know how to test the spirits, you're screwed.
Now, I have a question. So, we get this certificate from a demonologist or anything, whatever. The is say that they got the certificate 20 years ago. Do you have to go back through, and continuously like a kind of go back and get recertified or whatever.
Certification.
Certification, yeah.
Someone could turn something in and not been active for 10 years. Are they still equipped to handle it?
I'm still recognized by the Jesus Fellowship Church, which is non-denominational, and I'm also recognized by the United States Old Catholic Church. That never ends.
So it
You're
doesn't
recognized.
change throughout.
No.
Okay.
No. Rev.
It's all in the paperwork. I agree with Rich. Most of my paperwork, you get to a certain point, and I start receiving certificates that say no expiration date. So whatever it says that I am on that diploma, if you will, or certificate, some of them have expiration dates. That's why a lot of people like Rich and I, in what we do, we continue our education, we continue our schooling, because you're never done learning, especially in this field. I mean, you can go a lifetime in this field and still have so much, when you're being given the last rites, there can still be so much you didn't know or didn't learn. So it's good to continue your education and stay active. But most of my paperwork now, before I went into the seminary, have where there would be an expiration date says no expiration date, which means, however, whatever level I reached at that point, I'm good to go. There's no more with that training that I can attain. And so now, being in the seminary for the United States Old Catholic Church, I don't do that anymore. I'm now just a seminarian. Legally, I don't even go by the title Reverend anymore. I'm just a seminarian, and I plan to wait. I get calls all the time, and I try to counsel people on the phone, and then I get them to the right people for help. But I've put a complete halt on all of that, and don't assist or plan on doing any exorcisms until I finish my seminary school, and then Bishop Long puts me through the demonology, and then I plan to, when I get ordained into the priesthood, I plan to go on and become an ordained exorcism through his church. But right now, I'm temporarily on hold until I get all that extra education and training out of the way.
I liked what Irene Akiko said.
Yeah.
We go to special Buddhist priests to cleanse the body from demonic possession. Let me just state this, and
They are.
I really want to emphasize this. I don't want anyone out there watching your show to think that we are being exclusive. We're not excluding other faiths. I strongly believe that if you are of the Buddhist faith, the Jewish faith, pagan faith, whatever it may be, Native American faith, every single faith, and notice I'm not using religion. I deplore the word religion. To me, religion is something that is man-made, and it's very exclusive. You need to somehow include yourself in it, and you have to behave. And no, God, in whatever form you wish to worship, my God is Jesus, the Messiah, and I identify as Christian. But I will never, ever take the stance of, oh, like Irene, you're Buddhist? Well, that doesn't mean anything to me. I'm sorry. Who am I to say that? I can't. Because to Irene, that means a lot. I'm just using her as an example. I would then be exclusive. I would be excluding her faith just to push my faith. I will never be that kind of person.
That's actually a good way to put it, because I'm the same way. I take a little bit from each faith, I guess, because yeah. Anyway, but I do have a question on just to go back to the schizophrenia thing. Now, we're not saying that just because someone has schizophrenia they can't get help, right?
Correct.
Okay, because that's a lot of what we're told a lot of times is, and us as investigators, if we don't have the knowledge that like you guys have, which we don't, we have the knowledge we chose to learn and keep learning, but we don't have all that. So when we go into a case and yeah, most of the time it's nothing more than something they have projected themselves. But sometimes it's serious, and it's not necessarily demonic. It's a presence that's there, whether they manifested a poltergeist, whether their thoughts, whatever it is. But sometimes you're like, this very well could be something that I can't handle. So if they have that diagnosis is schizophrenia, are they, pretty much done where we can't help them, or how does that go?
You have to make sure they're on their meds. And if it's not demonic and you've had an actual demonologist or Rev or Bishop James Long or so on come in and actually say, no, this is not demonic, there are various ways. And I'm one of those firm believers. I've studied so much, not only in theology, but I've studied paranormal. I'm not one of those that believes that sage is a cure-all. I think, if anything, from what my understanding and my reading up on sage, and also speaking to actual practitioners that use sage, they always state sage is not to cast out evil spirits or anything bad other than negative energy. There's a huge difference. So
Right.
let's say the family is in conflict. They're constantly fighting or whatnot. What you're doing with sage is basically it's like using Lysol. I hate to use that analogy,
Right.
but it's like you're spraying it or Febreze to make the whole house smell good.
And it makes sense.
Sage is to remove the negative energy out of the house. It's not to remove negative spirits or demons or whatnot. On the contrary, a demon, if it could actually materialize, would grab the sage from your hand and go, got something bigger? And
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
I do, because I understand that. And we get a lot of paranormal investigators which Shawn, you've been investigator, Rich, you are an investigator.
Yeah.
We get a lot of, if you look on Facebook, if you want to take in everything you hear, you're going to be going all kinds of directions every time you turn around. But, and that is a common consensus that it is going to piss off things. I get that. That's very true. But sometimes it's like that. Irene, you might help me with this.
Yeah, I was about to answer this question she's got.
What do they call that? Like you align the room in a different way
Feng
to
shui?
get the.
Feng shui.
Yes, thank you. Like to me, it's like the same thing where it's in your mind, it clears the room. And so if it's that way in your mind that it clears it, it does clear it.
Yeah.
I like Palo Santo better anyways. It
What
smells
is
better.
what is Palo Santo? I've never heard of that one.
Palo
It's the
Santo.
wood.
Palo Santo.
Palo
It's the
Santo is a
wood. You
type
can
of
buy it at
wood.
Walmart in like seriously, you really can. As a matter of fact, Shawn sent me something with his book that
Oh, that's
I
what it
have
is. Okay.
Dragon's Blood Sage. And I have a little thing that was actually blessed by the Pope.
I got Palo and I got
Yes, yes.
cedar.
And I keep that, like, I've never had to use it. Thank God I've never had to use it. But I keep it with me when I go, just because I know its origin. And I don't ever have to use it.
Palo Santo is
I
really
never
just
have
the
to.
name of the wood.
Wood.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And it's not that it's blessed. Now, if
that translation of that word Palo Santo means holy wood.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, I speak Spanish. I'm well aware of that. So naturally, yes.
I speak a little Spanish, and I did not know that.
But
Yeah.
Rich,
Palo
you need
Santo
to
is-
send Jen some more. She's out.
I'm
were
not,
saying-
last time I checked, I ain't no crystal shop. So
You are FedEx. You need to send her some more.
No, but you
I
can
do have
you
got a crystal.
can
I
pocketbook for that.
thank you guys for this. First of all, Irene brought up something that Nick and I had never heard of, and then all of a
You
sudden,
never heard of it either?
we seen one of you guys bring it out in a Ziploc bag like
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
It's
that-
this.
bear.
Well, this just looks like dragon's blood sage, but it's actually pot.
oh my God.
No,
how's it a
that's
different?
in
Wait a
my
minute.
It's
house.
this
I
is
gotta
dragon's
ask.
blood
That's in my
sage.
house.
That
How is it
actually
different?
looks like old corn.
Corn.
Don't start, Nick. It actually looks like one of those colored corns that they have for Thanksgiving. You know what I'm talking
Indian
about?
corn?
It's sage. It's just dipped in dragon's blood. That's
I
why
was
it's
just
red.
about to say, you said it was like weed. I was thinking, well, how's it a different color? Because I know it was usually the
Oh,
pot
yeah,
is
that's
green.
that's the best way to smudge. If you can actually also smoke your smudge, that's the best way to cleanse.
Brad. No, that's my tunnel,
Smelling the
Brad.
dragon's blood.
We are not going there.
Nope.
although it does smell when you burn sage, it does smell like pot. So
Yes,
Yeah, it does.
So the
It really
dragon's
does.
blood. Adrian can attest to this. The smell of the dragon's blood,
Mhm.
oh, off the charts. Just
Oh, yeah,
wonderful,
It
yeah.
is. I love
Smelling
that stuff. And I just keep it. I keep it. I did use some of it when we came back from the Abbey because we had issues. And no, it was not demonic. No.
no, it's just negative energy, and
It was.
that's what sage is for. Is just to rid yourself. I've actually been saged
Mhm.
after a paranormal investigation because there was so much negative energy where we
Right.
just investigated before I leave to go home. That's normal.
Yeah.
When we went, this was so strange because anywhere I've been, I mean, you hear sounds, you can always debunk if you want to everything. This we could not because our skeptic of the group went downstairs and we were all getting ready to go together. And of course, I have my body cam on me and we're just going. And he says, I kept saying, do you smell that? It smelled like sulfur. And I thought, somebody in front of us farted. I was like the third in the group. And
It
I'm
was
like, you
Rich.
know what? Y'all are nasty. Do you smell that? And I think one of the three in front of me were going to admit to this because they're all pretty honest. And they're like, oh my gosh, I do. I'm like, y'all are gross.
You smelt it, you dealt it.
Yeah, you think, but no. This guy in front of us, which I won't name names because he's not here, but he turns around and goes, nope. And he left. And I'm like, what is going on? But the smell's getting stronger. I'm like, but we were down there before and, you can make yourself think something's there all you want to because you've heard stories or whatever the case might be. But he took off. His wife took off with him. I'm like, I'm not going there by myself. You can forget this. He gets upstairs and he's telling our tour guide, he's like, I saw this thing. And what he described was the rake. What you see online is the rake.
The rake.
And I'm like, what? And he said it crawled over the 7-foot door and was just looking at him, looked him right in the eyes. He said the rake has black holes for eyes. It had eyes. And I was like, okay, well, you know what? I'm not going back down there by myself. You can forget it. And we stayed up there. I was like, if it gave off that smell, no, it's probably not demonic, but it is warning us. I'm not going to listen to the next step. We're done for right now.
And this is
The
where
guide
she's
went
going to
down.
be in August.
Yeah. And the guide went down by himself. He goes, I know this place and I know the spirits. And you know what? I'm protected. He goes down. He goes, and this was like 15 minutes later. He goes, that smell is strong. I'm like, well, if somebody farted, that smell's not still going to be there.
Unless it's Donald Martin that farted. But
I was thinking you were going to bring that up.
I'm like, And he said, this thing followed me all the way through the little pathways and came back. And that guy kept describing it looked me in the eyes. And I'm like, you know what? Things can portray to be something they're not. And, you know, once you're a spirit, you're not stupid. You know that people portray sulfur as demonic. So they're going to put that out there.
In all actuality, demons and Lucifer are not in hell. Just FYI,
Right.
when they were cast out of heaven, they fell to earth.
Mhm.
Hell was created for Lucifer and the fallen angels, but they presently are on this earth and the first heaven. And a lot of people have this misconception that they are in hell. So a lot of times they always say, yes, and I agree with what Jen just said there, hell on earth. That's where the term came from, because
Right.
that this is their realm.
Mhm.
Hell and the lake of fire, according to Judeo-Christian belief, has been set aside for the demons, the fallen angels and Lucifer, but they are not there now. So when you cast out a demon, they go before the throne of God to be judged.
Mhm.
And oftentimes what's been mentioned biblically speaking is that when they are cast out into dry places, and they go on looking for another host. When they can't find another, they come back to where they came.
Mhm.
And notice that it's been swept clean, but they bring back 7 more wicked than it to take over again. So you're not out of the woods if an exorcist, a priest, a bishop, a reverend, or myself, or happen to cast something out.
Mhm.
It's going to come back, and it's going to come back with 7 of its buddies, or I should say 7 of its buddies that are even worse than it.
Mhm.
So you're not out of the woods yet.
So as Christians, this is my thought, and that's all it is, opinion. But my thought, why spirits, and I've been asked this a lot, and I'm sure y'all have too. So you're a paranormal investigator and you're Christian? What? Don't people go to heaven? Well, no. The Bible, yes, but the Bible says God will come get his
The gates of heaven and hell.
when it's time.
Yep.
Until then, where are we?
I
Here.
will quote Bishop. Many years back, I would say, 2012. We were at a convention together, and he dispelled one of the many things that I had been brought up to believe in non-denominational. I should say some of it was also, what's the word I'm looking for here? Evangelical beliefs. Because evangelicals believe that everything is the devil. It's the devil this, the devil that. I can't stand that garbage. I
The
literally,
devil made me be mean to this boy.
it's like this.
Devil made me do it.
The devil, this and that. I had to. You have no idea what I went through as a kid, and a little bit into adulthood. I actually had to go to therapy for this because it was that bad. But I digress. When it comes to anything and everything being of the devil or demonic, no, it's not. We also have to remember that something that Bishop told me, and it made sense. And he asked me one day when I asked him this question, so how do we know that what we're actually communicating with when we're doing EVPs and talking to spirits are not demons portraying to be human?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, Rich, what is it about humans, mankind, that sets us apart from all other creations?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what? He created us in his image. And he said, other than that, I was like, I'm here racking my brains. And I'm like, I don't want to bother him with this anymore. And I said, Bishop, I really don't know. And he said, free will.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, free will? What does that have to do with anything? He's like, where in the Bible does it state that once you die, you lose your free will? Good point. Mm-hmm. Meaning, having free will, which sets us apart from all other creations, we have the freedom to come back. We have the freedom to haunt people. Eileen, I'm warning you ahead of time.
I'll Palo Santo my entire.
Yeah, you can Palo Santo all you want, but
won't stop them.
No. I'll be like, anyways.
Reb, I'm gonna need you after Rich passes to come over.
But that was his answer, and it made a lot of sense, and it laid a lot of concerns to rest for me.
Right. And I think that kind of scares me now, though.
Funny.
I have a pact with two people, which was a joke to start with, but I think they took it serious, and I know they took it serious. I have a pact with two people. One, that I will help them cross over. That's one.
What if they don't want to cross over?
Well, no, he does.
Okay.
But he can't. Not until it's time. Number two.
He wants to. Yeah.
Right. And the second one promised me that he will, because I was collecting dolls. None of them were haunted dolls. They were just dolls. And he said he would move them the day he died because nobody's here to tell me he's gone. He's alone. He's older. He's alone. He said, the day I die, you'll know, because I'm going to move the dolls from where they're at to in front of your bed, and they're going to be staring at you when you wake up in the morning. And then I'm going to be there till the day you die.
Off the beaten path, but what I have, from what I have seen from the trailer, I loved the way they reenacted what we've all experienced. It was done very, very well, and like I stated, our purpose for the Legion of Exorcists is to show people how it's really done,
right?
What's really out there. We're not encouraging people, and I hope we're not. I hope it doesn't, inspire people to go out and get a collar and start saying, I'm a priest too. Yeah. Please don't.
Right.
That's the worst thing you can do, because you don't know. You're putting yourself in danger if you have no formal training.
Yeah.
And the people around you as well.
Right.
And speaking of the trailer, why don't we?
Yeah, I do have the trailer up and ready to show whenever.
So before we do that, this show, from people who were on it, and I know I'm going to hear this, and I want you to dispel this now. You weren't told how you're going to act, what you're going to do, and that you're going to lie to make this a show, were you?
No.
I can tell you, just knowing Rich, I'm sure you know, and Shawn, they wouldn't have been a part of it.
Well, I know, but I want this dispelled to start with, because
I'd like to add something to that real quick.
Yeah.
Since the show was filmed, I don't know, I can't speak for the other cast members, but I have become very good friends with the actor who portrays me in the cinematic recreations.
I found mine today, my doppelganger, by the way.
His name is Steve Crawford. You won't find a nicer, more talented actor, and I'm blessed to that he chose him to play me. But he's a very religious person, and it's he's constantly picking my brain during filming it, leading up to him having to do these cinematic recreations. We would speak a lot, and so what you see is him getting direct feedback from me as to what occurred in certain situations.
Becoming you.
Yeah.
You know what would be interesting if y'all could, or even on, either one of your shows, having your actor be a part of it, and because they're not investigators, they're not demonologists, they're not, with the clergy or anything. Yeah, thank you. The word was slipping, but it would be nice to see their side of what they had to reenact and what their thoughts on everything is now. Has it changed them and their mindset?
And that's something, we all know as people who have never met Eli Roth, who have never, obviously, we see all these different shows he produces or is a part of. And some of those shows are just for entertainment.
Yeah.
Others are serious and are true. So it's like, that's why I asked you that question, because people are going to say or ask. So
I'll add this. Yes, people want to know. People ask me this all the time, and yes, he would show up on the set. Eli, I'm speaking of, in a wife beater with a bat, and scary individual.
No, he
I'm
didn't.
scarier than he is.
I know there's going to be plenty of people out there that don't know
No.
what I'm talking about. I'm talking about
No.
the role he played in what was the Quentin Tarantino movie where he played the Jew bear.
Oh, that was Inglorious Bastards.
Inglourious
That's
Bastards.
That, for people that don't know, that's Eli Roth, and I thought he did a wonderful job in that.
But just so that everyone's aware, writers were there. Writers took down our stories so that they could transfer it over to the actors who were reenacting us. Other than that, what we stated on air was truth. It is what it is. But people are always going to say, oh, this is fake. And I swear to you, I'm not lying about this, but less than 24 hours of that trailer being dropped, I already had, and so did Shawn. He's the one that brought this to my attention. We already had haters. And they had their pitchforks and torches, and I'm like, and what are you going to do about it? There's nothing you can do about it. You can't make everybody happy all the time.
And sometimes it's not as much haters as it is they're jealous.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying that they're not, but what I'm stating is you're basing your opinion on us based off of a minute and 20-something second trailer that were fakes. You've never even met us. You've never spoken to us. I know a few that have met us, but you don't know my credentials. You don't know Rev's credentials, yet you're here trashing. A lot of it, yes, you're right, Eileen, happens to do with jealousy. But you know what? We didn't ask to be on these shows. We were approached.
Let me add this. A lot of people don't know this. We started working on this project before the pandemic. So there was a lot of hard work put into this project, literally blood, sweat, and tears. And none of us, I can speak for the rest of the cast when I say that none of us would have been a part of this had it been. I know my original response when I was approached was, can't be done. I'm not interested, because I didn't think it could be done. But these are some of the most gifted and talented writers. And, from the production company to the network to Eli to all the actors that were auditioned and worked hard to try and become us. It's a big family. We're a big family, and we've been working on it for a long time. And it's the real deal.
And unfortunately, I can't speak for Rev because I don't really.
Evil is on.
I don't really know you that well. But if anyone wants to know who Rich is and doesn't trust talking to him and saying, "Okay, who are you?" Call me. Reach out to me. I will tell you.
I will. I have to ask for permission for something. As soon as the trailer's over, I do have night prayer to attend. Okay. And so after the prayer, I'm going to wish everybody all my love from the bottom of my heart, but I will have to graciously bow out of there.
We got to shut it down in 8 anyway. I just thank you for joining us tonight, Shawn.
Yeah. Shawn, I got to say, I've seen you on a number of shows before, but it was definitely a pleasure to finally meet you face to face.
Oh, I'm not done with you guys. Each and one of you will be on my show, and like I said, I've got you all on a special list, and I'm not done with you guys yet.
And say a prayer for us tonight.
Always.
You've never met him yet, Nick.
You know what? I'm just as surprised as you are, because I've watched a couple of his shows. I've commented on it, and I'm just really surprised I haven't spoken to him face to face sooner. So it's been awesome.
And I would love to everyone to realize I was good today.
Yes, you were.
I think you were good today.
Yeah, that's debatable.
This?
Yeah.
Really? You were good
I
today?
only did that a couple of times,
Do that not one time.
but
But
y'all,
you did get a good cop.
I don't claim to
You
be
got a
good.
good compliment,
I'm not
though.
lying.
Brad.
well, hold on, real quick, guys. We're not breaking away. He's about to show the trailer, so everybody stay and
Yep.
watch the trailer. Okay,
Yes, we are.
So we're not,
Yeah,
Let's play it.
I didn't think the trailer was going to start automatically. I thought it was going to stay in the green room like it's supposed to.
yeah.
Then decided to just come right up.
I'm excited to see it. Let's play it.
Let's watch it.
Rise.
Hang on.
Evil is on the rise. Demons battle to possess our souls and drag us one step closer to hell. But now, there is a gathering of spiritual warriors who defend us against the devil's minions.
St. Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle.
And unite to banish the demons in our midst.
This was the case that opened my eyes.
This 17-year-old girl was so distraught that she would do anything to talk to her dad one more time.
Disturbing things started happening. You could feel the presence. It was just terrifying.
We ended up having our very first demonic experience.
It frightened me. It frightened me to the core.
Demons wait patiently for the ultimate checkmate, the rise of the Antichrist, which will lead to the final battle between good and evil. Until then, the spiritual warfare will continue. These are the true stories of the Legion of Exorcists.
I'm not watching it. It's too scary for me.
Okay, so
I know I
they are
will.
true
It does
stories.
drop
I
June
gotta-
1st.
I gotta go to night prayer, everybody. I'm so sorry.
All right.
Good night, Shawn.
I love
See
you
you later,
all.
Shawn.
God bless
Good
you
night,
all. You're
Ray.
all on the prayer list. I love you guys. Thank you so much.
Night.
Love you.
Good
Good
night.
night,
See-
Shawn.
See you soon, Rich. I'll put some lotion on your head.
Oh God.
Now, before we start
And with
talking,
that, he's going to prayer. Really?
now, before we start talking, it does drop because it didn't show on there. It does drop June 1st on. I'm getting this, Rich. Travel Channel, HBO Max, and Discovery Plus.
Yes.
Look at me! I knew my stuff.
And these
But
are actually true
It'll be at
stories.
10 p.m. Eastern Standard, and whatever you guys consider.
It's
that
Central
your
for me.
time zone.
Yeah, I'm
Well,
on Central too.
Central.
There we
So-
go. Thank you,
So
Jen.
the question I want
There we
to ask,
go.
based off of what was on that trailer, is well, two of them. How many cases are involved in this series?
I can't go into that.
You have to watch it to see.
Yeah, unfortunately, under contractual obligation, I can't discuss any show until it actually airs.
Right.
So, or then you see the format in which they present it, and then I can discuss it. But you know, I am under an NDA.
And that's
Okay, so-
understandable.
Then
That's
you
understand. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jerry. Go on.
Then you probably wouldn't be able to say how many of those cases were started because of a Ouija board.
Well, obviously, you saw one there.
Yeah.
So obviously, there is one of the stories that does involve a spirit board. We were not allowed to use Ouija board
Because
because
Ouija board is actually a name.
it's a copywritten
right.
name.
Yeah.
So that being said, if that was brought up, we were immediately told, nope, you can't use that. It's copywritten, understandably. So we were asked to use spirit board instead, which is basically the same thing.
See, what I was going to say was, and I understand, obviously, you can't say anything about it because Jeremy usually doesn't care if he gets spoiled or not. Isn't that right,
Now-
Jeremy?
Now, Rich, before we go too far, I'll let Adrian say about Shawn's. You have a show out there, so I'm just going to go ahead and promote everybody since we're kind of getting down for time, and then we can also talk about the show too. But Greetings from Beyond Radio.
Yeah.
So make sure if you do check Rich out there. And what is Rev's show?
It's I keep wanting to say we still call it Reverend Shawn Whittington Show. And it is on the PAC channel, which is my husband's channel. It's on things. It's on quite a few networks, but we still call it Reverend Shawn Whittington Show, which he is not a reverend anymore. He will say that every show, but he's our Rev. That's
he's studying to be, as he stated earlier when he was on the air, he's studying to be a deacon. And that is one of the steps on your way up when you're in the old Catholic Church. So
he is Mondays. He's on Mondays at
I think 7 o'clock, I think. Or
6 o'clock Mountain Time. I'm on Mountain Time.
Yeah, it's 7 o'clock for my time then.
6 Mountain Time. He's Fridays at 3 p.m. Mountain Time. And his Monday show is actually on the radio as well.
Also, my show's on Wednesdays on Parallax 1, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Greetings from Beyond Radio with my co-host Vicky Burnett. There was also a question in here: is it an episodic?
Yeah, that's what Brad was asking.
Yes, it is. There's 6 episodes. I can't say that because it's actually been written about. So there are 6 episodes included.
It's gonna be like a weekly thing, or is it? Okay.
From June 1st to the first week of July.
I was gonna
Awesome.
say.
So
Oh yeah, see, he was just about to ask that, but no, it's. I just wanted to say it was kind of interesting.
If you have Discovery Plus, just responding to Brad. If you have Discovery Plus, I guess you can like binge watch it.
Yeah.
But on Travel Channel, it'll be Thursdays, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard every week until we're done with the 6 episodes.
Okay. So if you get a chance, please get that screenshot you've got.
Yeah.
And let's get a poster done of it. I will buy it, and I know there's a lot of others that will too.
I won't buy it. You just got to send it to me.
Well, just because we're friends with somebody doesn't mean we can't benefit their fame.
Yeah, you know, it's you got to pay for those posters and pictures, and it's not cheap.
No, I've already told Rich he's gonna autograph my arm. I'm gonna get a tattoo with his Rich,
just do yourself.
First of all, you cannot yet. Your daddy's not gone.
Rich, I can't get a tattoo till my daddy's gone.
Well, and I was going to say, Rich, what you could do for Eileen once she wants one, just put extra shipping on it for her.
I actually have.
I would wrap it up in so much duct tape.
Look, I got an insider. Jen will send it to me.
I have a couple of posters of shows that have went on. And I bought them. I didn't. They were friends of mine, but I still bought them just because they're friends doesn't mean I can't help them. And one of them was actually raffled off, and I won it, but it's in frames up on my wall. So yes, I want this one added to it.
So I did have a question for you all out of curiosity. I'm just curious, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but how much do these promo pics go for nowadays? And because it's been a minute. I think the last the last time I went to a convention was Scarefest 2015.
I'm gonna say $10 not signed, and at least 25 signed.
Okay. Anyone else?
I don't know the answer, to be honest.
$5.
I'm about to say it depends on, and I'm gonna say, and I'll talk to you about my thoughts after the show.
Okay.
No, that is cheating. The rest of us said it out there.
Well, you did, and thank you, birthday girl, for that. But I'm going off of what I last saw.
I would say
I saw $50 and up. And let's say they wanted just, a picture, $50. If you want it signed, they were charging like $60. And I was like,
and I would say that's awesome. After the show has been out and it does really good, then yes, up to $100 signed.
Well,
Hell
and
no.
I
I
would
wouldn't do
say,
that.
I would say honestly, judge your location too. But obviously, you can't lose money, but judge your location, because if you're in the sticks, I mean, just like other things, if you're in the sticks, and I mean, my thoughts on this is who made that picture worth anything? You did, because yes, you were in the film.
Right.
But the people watching it. So that's why I'm saying I have different outlooks on things.
And that's true, but let's say somebody calls you guys and says, can one of you or all of you or whatever, let's think, I'm going to be really nice with this wording, and I promise you out of my mouth, this is really nice with this wording. Some of the jerks that they call to Paracons, they pay their ticket out there, number one, which, okay, yes, they're celebrities, they should. If they want them out there, they should. The celebrities shouldn't have to pay for themselves. Number two, they put them up in motels. Okay, so why should they have to pay to be there? Yes, they should. Number three, when they're selling their merchandise out there, that's where they make their money.
That's what I'm saying. It's
If
hard
you're
to
at a
say.
Paracon,
Okay, that price.
yes, $100 a poster. Yes.
I can't. Listen, I'm a fanboy, and I remember this was 2018 Miami Comic Con, and I'll never forget. I'm a fanboy of anything comic books. Hello, you know, I got frickin' Wolverine shirt here, but Stan Lee was there. May he rest in peace.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Oh.
That man was charging, all right, for a signed pick, $250.
See,
To
Wow.
have
No,
him
here's my
sign
thought.
a comic book or comic books, $500 a pop.
Yeah, okay,
See,
yeah.
my thing now, granted, I agree with Adrian. People have to make money to be able to do the travel because they're missing. They don't.
People
Have a job.
Yeah,
Right.
but
I mean, like,
$100 is too much.
but
That's
there's a point
insane.
where it is just
Right.
ink on a paper. I mean,
And this is where we get all our opinions, and I think that's awesome because we all have our different opinions. And there is one, and I won't mention names just because, and you all know who it is. We had a celebrity come to one of our things, and I will never forget him. I only met him once, and I've talked to him since, but Eileen knows him. I met him once. I'll never forget him because I was in charge of making sure he's comfortable while he's there.
Only
I
red
knew nothing
M&Ms,
about it.
right? Red M&Ms. That's it.
No, but this man was the most gracious, sweet,
Wow.
loving person I have ever met in my life. And he was like, you know what? We did put him up in the motel and we did buy his airline ticket. But you know what? He said, give the rest of the money to location. Anything I make, just give it to the location.
I have to tell about Parathug. Hello.
I
have
love
never,
you,
things
miss
like
you.
that you remember. You
And that's what I'm
remember
saying.
the man who was nice.
The
You remember the
memories-
person.
The memories to me are more important
They
than
are.
a signed picture.
I didn't get his autograph. Of course, I got a picture with him. Hell, but
even that they charge.
he didn't. He didn't.
That there are celebrities because back in
They- yes.
2015,
Absolutely.
I know for a fact they were charging like $70 to use your phone to take a picture with them. I was like,
Absolutely.
what?
But
You've got
He
to be
never
kidding me.
once. And what he did, it was amazing. It's Mustafa. And he jumped up and I said, here, I want one picture before we leave. That's all I said. And if he would have charged, I'd have paid for it. Just because he was so nice.
But
and
now,
I said, he jumped up behind me, and I still have this picture. It's on my Facebook. He made funny faces, and he was exhausted. This man was exhausted.
Because
And
he
he
had
made
the last
funny
night,
faces.
he didn't even get really to sleep. He had to drive, what, an hour to get
He
back to
didn't
his
because
flight.
some jerk kept him up. But anyway, we you know, he was amazing, and I will never forget that man. And it's not because of his fame; it's because of his personality.
Right.
But I do agree in charging. I do
too.
Rich knows that I am like, my idol is John Zaffis. I would not pay $200 for an autograph from him.
I wouldn't for my
I would
idol
pay
either.
$100.
Because I know when I meet him, he's
Not
not
even
going to be the
100.
man I think he is.
Right.
I mean, I'm not even one to say he charges this much. Quite frankly, I don't know how much
Right.
he charges per picture, but it's not gonna be in the 100 marks. That's insanity.
Right.
But
That's what I'm
I
saying.
want you guys to decide that. That's between y'all. And when you decide, I want that picture. And I want it signed by the ones I know. That one person, I would love to have him sign it too. I just don't know him yet.
You mean who? Scott Shrek or
Scott
Donnie
Shrek.
or okay?
See, I pick on Rich. Rich and I have that sister brother pick on,
And that's okay. You know, hell, Rich is easy to pick on because he is fun. He's not that standoffish person that, you know.
That's why he's going
fun.
to.
Very laid back, very relaxed.
And that's why he's charging you extra now, Eileen, for the picture.
But he knows I am that type. If Rich writes a book and puts other, no offense, Rich, I might not ever truly read the book, but I'm going to buy the book.
Exactly. And I've done that with 5 different people. I bought the book, and forgive me for the person that I know is watching this.
The reason
I have not read it.
No, I probably wouldn't read it is because, heck, half the stories Rich and I may have already talked about.
Right.
You know, as friends,
we've
already talked about stuff like that. So I want to hear it from his mouth, being his friend. But now, someone I've never met.
Yeah, who is that Facebook user?
And read it.
That is Joshua.
Oh,
and
Josh.
No offense, Rich. I didn't mean that offensively.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. I didn't know you were on a show, but hey, you're showing up as Facebook user. Thank you, Joshua. I love you.
It was, you know, quite frankly, I was inquisitive because I don't know. I've already been asked to do a Paracon here in Florida sometime in September, and I'm just curious because I'm like, I've never done this. I've always been the one that paid for the tables and all that
me
stuff.
too, yeah.
But, you know,
Please
now
don't sell
I'm being
yourself
asked
short.
as, I guess, a celebrity, and I'm like, dude, I'm just rich.
No, don't sell yourself short. This is your moment in the spotlight. Do not
It may
sell
be, but
yourself
I
short.
will always be just rich. You know, it's
We
like
will.
I will never ever. I have seen people turn down shows that don't have enough followers.
Yeah.
Because they're
Yeah.
celebs.
Right,
And
right.
I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Oh, because they only have 10 followers. You just lost 10 followers there.
Well,
you just lost the respect.
But that's
of those.
okay. That's okay.
That's
take
not
your
okay.
moment in the spotlight.
No,
you don't have to
what
over the top, but take your moment in the spotlight. This is your time. You did this. You worked for it. Take it.
Rich will always remember it's the Jeremys, the Nicks, the Adrians of the world
The
that
Beth
even
Allens,
watch the show.
Beth Allen, the Chrissies, the everybody, you know,
And that's
all
okay.
The Eileens.
the Eileens, and it is what it is. I mean, Eileen, with all due respect, she's the one that actually set things up for me to get into Paralanx,
And that's
for my
okay.
show. And that worked out. It worked out, and I will forever be thankful to her. And that in itself is how I show my loyalty.
Absolutely, but take your moment. and get a little bit out of it.
But people forget what he's, I think, and Rich, I'm interrupting you to tell you what I think you're saying. People forget that you know where they started, and Rich never wants to forget that.
Yeah, and people that are humble never will. The Mustafas, you know what? Never mind. I don't know too many others, but they don't. He doesn't. If I message him right now, he will text back. If you message him, he will text back.
Beth just saw him the other day.
Well, there you go. I mean, he is up there, and he did make it.
But I will say, Rich, his only downfall, he doesn't think it's worth it to drive several hours out of his way to come to Mississippi.
Eileen, how about you drive several hours and go see
because
him?
I'm not going from Florida to Utah.
Why not? Are you too good to go up there, Miss Celebrity?
Scared?
To get in the snow.
Okay, here's the deal. Here's the deal.
Oh wow!
When I drive from Miami, Florida, I go straight through the state of Florida. I hit Georgia, I hit Tennessee, and Kentucky. Then I start veering northwest. Now, she wants me to drive to Mississippi, meaning I head up Florida, then I start having to go west.
Completely west.
Yeah, and that's out of my way. And either way, whether I'm coming from Utah or Miami, I'm not saying you're not worth it, hon. I'm just saying when you're on the road for 3 days straight.
Right. Yeah.
And all you want to do, have you ever driven 17 and a half hours nonstop at night into the day?
No, she's the co-driver that wants to take pictures of people while they're driving.
Until she gets to that point, that level, I don't want to hear it.
I could not even go like, you know what? My kid was an hour out of the way. I'm not going at that point because
you know what?
No.
And you know what? I should point this out too because we've talked about it. That's going to be us in a few months, me and Jeremy and a few others.
Yeah, but we're not going to be the ones doing the driving.
You're coming straight here. I don't want to hear it.
But you know we're going to be the passengers.
I might drive to
circumstance.
I might drive to Utah before September just to see Jen.
Oh, go for it.
What?
If anything, all she wants to do is see me to pull my beard. That's it.
No. Okay, hold on. You need to be part of the Stroke the Beard Club.
Yeah.
You know how everybody says, hold my beer?
No, it's Stroke the Beard.
I got Richard saying, hold my beard.
I know where this is going.
I don't think I'd pull anybody's beard, but here's the thing.
You got to compliment about your beard.
When it's all said and done, Jen, I'll take your word for it.
Don't resist the beard.
When it's all said and done, it's all
to the beard side.
All the shows, they're going to be amazing, and then there's going to be somebody replace them. But for right now,
the hitchhiker, you'll pay the gas.
let's take advantage of it, and you know, and we get to say we knew these people before this happened, and we knew these people as people, and they stayed as people, and not got so big that everybody hates them. Because there is some of those too, but
Rich knows if his ego got stroked too much, Jen would be beating him back down.
And I will say this: it does not matter what you do.
That's okay.
In this world. Unfortunately, I haven't done jack squat to anybody, and like I stated earlier in the show, in less than 24 hours from that trailer being dropped, I had not one, not two, but 3 individuals hating on the show, me and everyone in it. And they haven't even seen one episode. They're assuming, and you know what they say about people that assume.
Yeah.
They make asses of themselves, but they did me a favor. You see, I'm the kind of person, all right?
There you go.
I'm very positive, And you know what the positive was? Although what they were shoving in people's faces was negative, all three of those people were showing my trailer.
Yep.
Meaning,
wow.
I'm like, bring the ratings in already. You know,
exactly.
I'm like, thank you. Thank you so much. You know, you may hate me for whatever reason you may have, but you showing my trailer, you just did me one up.
That's right.
That's the way I look at it.
Well, here's the way we're going to look at it. We're going to, as a matter of fact, if somebody might want to send me that trailer, I can put it out there. And Jeremy. But
I got you.
You know where we need to show that
right there. No publicity is bad publicity, but this was publicity and it was given to me for free. I was like,
and you know what? That's fine. They can be assholes. And when this thing comes out on top, they can either, well, assholes never admit they're wrong anyway, so it doesn't matter. But
haters are gonna hate. That's the saying.
That's it.
Yeah.
But you know what? All of us have a chance to do something if we want to. All of us. So are we going to root for each other, or are we going to be jerks?
I would like to hope that, you know, this is why I've always laughed at para unity. It doesn't exist.
You're right.
It
Absolutely.
does not exist. It's like para unity this, para unity that.
Para family is what I say.
Problem.
It is. That's
the
it.
Moment
you can be family or don't.
A human ego, we all have egos.
That's it.
And it gets stroked wrong, para unity's out the window.
That's kind of like rubbing the dog's hair the wrong way.
Right. Right. They're going to, you know, bite back. Eventually it's going to happen. So it's not that I don't believe it's something that we can't have, but we need to abide by certain, I don't know, rules of engagement when it comes to para unity. Things you shouldn't say, things you shouldn't do, but that's never going to happen.
How's that?
I call it para family because there's family members that you despise, but you just choose not to talk to those.
That's it. But how about give everybody a leg up? Whether you really give a shit or not in public, don't down them.
And here's another thing, people, and I know Rich and I have talked about this. The more that yes, if anybody ever says that they would not like to be known in the paranormal, I'm not saying famous, known, that they don't care about, they don't want to be known. Now, you may not care if you're known or not, but if you say you don't want to be known, I'm going to call BS on that a little bit.
Yeah.
But the more that you do things negatively, people are going to start turning their backs. Like I used to tell people back in high school, because sometimes adulthood reminds me of high school.
A lot.
You have people, and when we were in high school, especially girls, that you would fight with your best friend, quote unquote. They would turn around and tell all your secrets to everyone. Mm-hmm. And then I always tell people, okay, so what is that teaching the next group of friends that you're getting? They're never going to trust you because they know the moment that you take them off, they're going to backstab you. Same thing in the paranormal world. The more you backstab people, whether it be, dissing them because they did get a show, they dissed them this, you've gotten a bad image about yourself. No one wants to deal with you anymore. That's right. The more you support people, the more people will support you.
Well, here's the one thing they can come away with this, Eileen, you and me both. When we're gone, you know what? Nobody had to worry about what we thought of somebody because we done told them. It may not be in public, but we told them behind the scenes.
Yeah, I definitely don't feel like I never dish out on Facebook.
Right. So, you know what? Nobody ever had to worry about, especially me, what I thought about somebody, because I'll tell you out on the air too. I don't care. But we always support anybody who's trying. We support anyone.
If I may, I saw a post of, I'd say sometime last month, and it actually perturbed me to the extent to where I was like, really? Okay, that's fascinating. So this individual made a post, actually it was a video, and they stated their opinion, which everyone's entitled to, but I'm also entitled to agree or disagree with.
Right.
And they stated, let me just make the statement, not like that, I'm not
You're
portraying them.
paraphrasing.
I'm paraphrasing, correct. But once you become or you end up on a show, you cease to be a paranormal investigator. You're a paranormal entertainer. And I was like, what?
To a point, but come on.
I was like, wait, hold up. I've been investigating the paranormal for 37 freaking years. And now because I'm on a show, all of a sudden I'm just a paranormal entertainer?
Right. Yeah.
No. In fact, once I finish filming those shows, if people seem to think that I'm going to stop going to residentials or investigating the paranormal, oh, wait a minute. Oh, because this guy said I'm no longer a paranormal investigator, but a paranormal entertainer, I guess I'm not allowed.
How about get to know someone?
That's very narrow-minded, don't you think?
But these shows do open up a little more doors, and I'm not meaning in the entertainment world, but people who sit at home and watch these shows, not in the paranormal, not in the theological, any of that, but everyone else go, wait a second, there is help out there for me.
Right.
So these shows are needed to go, especially what you're doing, Rich, to go, wait a second. And like you were saying earlier, is normally the people who are possessed or the people don't know they're possessed, but their loved ones could go, wait, I think this might be going on. Let me reach out to someone and
yes.
see.
I agree. It's promotion. It's promoting the individual and what they do. I'm just not a demonologist. I'm also a paranormal investigator. But, like if I were to actually, say, oh, well, I guess this guy decided to say that or rip that title away from me, I guess I'm not a paranormal investigator anymore.
You'll always be a paranormal investigator in my heart, Rich.
I will, but what I'm saying, Eileen, is I will always be, because that's what I've always been, paranormal investigator. I've studied to be a demonologist. I'm not going to have one Yahoo rip that away from me, or several of them. They can try, but it ain't going to happen. If that's what they want to believe and that's their opinion, have at it.
Well, how about we get to know someone? How about we get to know the people before we judge them?
Exactly. And if you don't like someone, move on.
There's only one person that I will judge, and I don't know him. But that's not the point right now.
I was going to say, is it Brad?
No, I know that little shit, and I judge from here to end of days to that little man. Someday I will meet that man, and what's going to happen is he's going to come up missing the day after I meet him, and I'm going to be interrogated because of all these shows that I promise he's going to come up missing.
I would have got the milk cartons ready for him.
I'm going to be in lots of trouble, but that's okay. You know what? I love you, Brad. You can put that in a loop all you want to. And this too. But no,
and also, and I know who you're talking about in defense of that individual, and I'm just saying, that person cannot really say anything, much of anything, to defend themselves, and we really don't, because everyone is under an NDA. But do we know that person personally?
No. And that's why I said that disclaimer to start with. No, I don't.
Everyone's different behind closed doors, good and bad.
I hope so. I really, really hope so.
Like, I could be the sweetest person to all y'all, but the moment I get off here and walk in there, I could be the most evilest person in the world. I don't think so.
So what changes?
And I could be
can
the
already-
biggest extrovert on here and be a total introvert when I go inside.
That's true. That's
Well,
true. And
and
you
I'm
know,
gonna-
some of these people that do these shows, I know one for sure, is an amazing personality on a show. When they get off that camera, they're an abused person.
But it
And
works.
Who is
You
that
know.
person for, if I may ask, from Facebook user?
Yeah, that's Josh.
All right. Question from Joshua in Florida. Do you ever get burnt out by not only the paranormal, but the BS politics of the paranormal?
don't we all?
I just
Oh,
back
yeah.
off. If that question was meant for me, I deplored drama and I stay away from it as much as possible. Notice everyone here has actually composed themselves the same way I do. Not one name has been mentioned, but there are many out there that could be mentioned, but they have that reputation of being, assholes. I said it. There you go.
Well,
But you know
except
what?
maybe Brad.
The ones that are jerks and all, or assholes, whatever, the more you say their name, the more attention you're giving
See?
them.
That's
Just
right.
like
And just like, yes, absolutely. But you know what? Our little group is growing all the time. You know, I don't know of one jerk in our group. Yes, we play with each other. Yes, we're jerks to each other. Yes, great. We're a family. That's what we do.
But here's the difference with us is that we know not to cross certain lines.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it's like
But-
Rich said one time to me. He goes, or no, in a chat, he said, I don't know if Eileen loves me or hates me. I said, if you question whether or not I love you, then chances are I do.
There you
said
go.
I think I love you. I probably don't.
Wait,
Right.
I said that? It sounded like you said
No,
me.
no, Rich said that.
Oh, Rich. It sounded like you said me. I was like, I don't remember ever say that at all.
Because I'm gonna rag the heck out of you. The closer I am to you, the more. And it doesn't mean I don't like people I don't rag. I may not know you, but if I truly know you and I don't rag you,
Yeah.
you know.
And you know what? The next time I see Eileen, you can bet I'm going to grab her ass.
Yep, and I'll grab yours too.
You grabbed ours too.
Yeah, exactly.
Hold on,
So-
Nick, hold on.
That's the
family.
one thing that is a guarantee with Eileen is that your ass will be dry. I have gotten to know a lot of people in this field. Several of them have been wonderful people. Others, I just cut them off. I don't deal with them anymore.
And we keep the ones that are good, and that's awesome. But you know what? It's like this. Just like Jeremy is fixing to be here. Nick is fixing to be here. Rich, anytime you and Jen are through here, you're always welcome. Anybody is welcome. Come here. Let's have a barbecue. Let's have a drink. That's.
I'll let
I'm
Jen
gonna be
drink.
there
I
twice
can't.
this summer.
But what I'm saying is, okay, case in point, a very dear friend of mine, you all know her, and it's Andrew Perron.
Eileen.
Andrew Perron is one of the sweetest, down-to-earth people. What you see is what you get. And I love that woman immensely. I've actually even stayed in her home, hung out with her, talked about what really happened at the farm, what really happened with her family. I mean, she is a very, very special friend for me, as I know I am to her. And I don't go around saying, I've had people ask me, hey, can you give me, Andrew's phone number? I'm like, no, I can't. Out of common decency and loyalty to her, and I consider her family, I don't care how famous you are.
Right.
It's just common decency. So it is what it is. And people will simply want it for selfish reasons. Oh, because I want them on my show. I'm like, why don't you contact
Too bad.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm actually going to be seeing her myself next week because my friend Tom and I are going to be going out to, well, hopefully we are, to Parasitecon in Mansfield, Ohio. And she's gotten to know us well enough. And same thing. She treats us like family. And, if she did the same thing. What's that?
That's next week already.
Yeah, it's next week. The third weekend. I know.
Time flies, doesn't it?
So, but what I'm trying to say is that even though we've met her a couple times, Rich, I do the same thing. Like, if she gave me her phone number, I'm keeping that to myself. I'm not giving it to anybody because it's against showing that loyalty.
Absolutely.
I won't give anyone's number to anybody. If you want their number, you ask them.
So,
right.
Let me get this straight. I gotta ask, you're willing to grab someone's ass, but you won't give them your number.
No, not your number, someone else's number.
I'm gonna put Rich's number on the bathroom stalls, but that's it.
Run, Rich. Run. Change your number.
Go with you. Go out of so it's all good. I mean, do what you gotta do.
Well, put yourself in
here's the best number of them all right there. That's the best number of them all.
You're showing your age, my dear sister.
8, 6, 7.
Yes, you are.
Okay, guys.
This
We
time-
kept Rich on long enough. Rich, thank you so much for coming on with us.
It was my pleasure. Thank you for having me. I appreciate
Shawn,
it.
I know you're not here. I love you. Thank you for coming on. I was actually going to reach out to you myself, Rich, but I don't know. Someone else decided it was a better idea, Mr. Shawn. But anyway, I really hope. I really hope we can get everybody from that show on and get their perspective and get. If somebody will send me the trailer, please.
It's in the group chat.
Thank you. I want to run this.
Itself sending to you is still sending.
Okay.
So,
Perfect.
but it is within the bite size of what it's supposed to be.
Okay.
It's
That's
12
fine.
megabytes, 25's allowed.
That's fine. As long as I can get it out there. And the thing is, a lot of people watch this even after the fact. So, we can kind of get this out there. And the good thing about this show,
I can't wait to watch
it. It's not made up. It's not something that somebody wrote and decided to create characters for.
No, it's not. And that's one of the things that I can actually say with all honesty when it comes to this. There were writers, but they were taking our stories and experiences down.
Sure.
And that was for the actors that recreated. So that being said, yeah, there was a script, but it wasn't for us. It was for them.
Right. And it's amazing to actually know somebody. Yeah, I'm the little peon here that's actually getting to meet people. So it's awesome to be able to say, you know what? I talked to that person. That's great. So yes, I'm the starstruck person in this.
As I said before, I'm the same guy I was before this was released, and I'll still be after. It doesn't matter.
And he really is.
And thank God I knew 3 of y'all before this happened. So I know that it's like, oh, I knew these guys. They were cool. So yeah, that's and it really does help knowing the people before, because you can promote it better because you knew them. And you're like, no, they're not liars. This is not some kind of bullshit story.
Right.
So it's really awesome. So you guys, congratulations. You did an awesome job, and I cannot wait to see
Even if you weren't,
neither can we. We haven't seen it yet.
I love you, Rich, but even if you weren't in it, so I'm not saying this just because you're in it, it looks awesome, and I can't wait to watch it.
Does. It does. Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to it. I only caught 3 minutes when Eli was there, and he insisted that we all get to see 3 minutes of each one of our stories.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. And
yeah.
I don't know what the song sounds like or the intro music or anything. I'm going to be just like you guys in the dark about it.
And congratulations. You made it this far.
Yeah.
That's all we can ask for. That's all any of us can ask for, is to have made an impact in this field at some point.
I think it's going to do some good.
Yeah. It's also awesome to see that Eli Roth, was the one who kind of helped put this together. And as someone who's a big fan of Eli Roth, I mean, he is a true, one of the modern day masters of horror. So,
yes.
He did a great job putting this, but congratulations to you guys.
Clive Barker, he's the Clive Barker of our era. And,
yes.
And, he is by far, I would say, the master of horror.
Yeah.
And he holds that title well. In
And-
fact, he has a movie coming out, by the way.
Congratulations,
Free plug on him. He has a horror movie coming out, Grindhouse style, November 17th of this year, on my birthday. So I'm going to be treating myself to go watch it.
Here's the info, guys.
Send
Thank you,
that
Jen.
to us because we got so much going on. Send it to us so we remember that because I would really love to see it.
And Jeremy, can you put her other post up there where people can find Rich? What page?
Yeah.
Jen, thank you so much for keeping him in line and dealing with all this.
I
You're
call her my
awesome, honey.
manager.
I know how this goes.
I call her my manager, but she insists on calling me her handler. She's my handler. So
There you
I'm
go.
like,
That's right.
I'll
Either
let that
way,
pass.
she's your partner and you guys complement each other. That's all that matters.
There you go.
If it wasn't for her,
in there as well, so
I wouldn't
that
have a show.
link on the chat.
What?
I was telling Jen to put the link in there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, if it's the
That way when
Facebook,
it shows up,
or,
it'll actually people can click on it and go straight to that page.
okay, yeah. I think you're talking about either the.
Thank you, Jen.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yep. Here we go.
Yeah.
I got to go back and click that so I can save it. Thank you.
And by all means, if she could put the links up for my Instagram and Facebook fan page, and
Please.
I'd appreciate it too, because I'm not, and no offense to anyone, I've literally been, and Eileen knows this, I've been cleaning out my friends list, and that was under the advice of the producers and everything.
Absolutely.
Do not add people because then they become trolls. You don't know them, they
Absolutely.
don't know
Yep.
you. So I've been literally removing from 848, which is all I really had, down to the 500s. And I these were people I seriously didn't know. I'm like, how'd they even get on my page?
Right. Yeah.
So, that's why I went ahead and did the fan
I don't
page.
know if I actually have you on mine or not.
You may not, because
Probably not.
I
I
have
don't think so either.
I've had people that I've been on their shows, or people that have been on mine, and they're like, I sent you a friend's request. I'm like, I'm not accepting friend requests right now because
because
it's a private page.
when I put in Rich, it comes, the only friend, it says Rachel Stratton. So no.
Well, if you put
you gotta
Rich
understand-
Valdes with an S at the end, it should come up, because I do have the fan page and it is connected to that.
And
But-
you gotta understand, and what Rich is, you've got to, when you do stuff like this and you're dealing with production companies and all,
Absolutely.
you have got to watch every detail.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because so it's that's one really good reason why they told him to do that, because it kind of limits all that.
So what
But
you'll
you know
see
what?
on my
I will
Facebook,
join the fan page just because.
yeah, if anything, if Jen can put it up there,
She's been putting it up there.
Yeah,
Cool.
she has. She just put the Instagram page link up.
Rich Valdes, cast member at Eli. Yep. Oh, wait. No, that's your actual page that comes up. And what it says is like, it's not the fan page, I don't think.
the fan page should be underneath the picture,
Because it
where
comes up like,
people can follow me.
works at cast member at Eli Roth, presents Legion of the Exorcists, 55 mutual friends. And then the other one comes, there's like 3 of you that come up.
There's the Instagram, there's the Facebook fan page, and my private page, which I'm pretty much keeping private.
Yeah, right.
But the fan page is underneath my default pic.
Where it says follow, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And your actual private page says add friend, right?
Well, of course it says add friend, but I
Here.
personally.
Yeah, no, we're not going to add friend.
Here we go.
No offense to you or anything. It's just
No, I get
figured-
it.
Yeah, because unfortunately, I've already had a few that have already sent me nasty emails, and I'm like,
Oh,
delete.
crap. Don't
Oh,
do
yeah.
that, people. Don't do that. Don't
yeah,
follow
they're gonna
this
do it.
instruction.
It is what it is. I just go.
That is not
delete,
you. That
block.
is not you under there. This is what you get under the no.
What picture is that?
Who is that?
Who the
Not
hell is that
you.
guy?
Let me see.
Is that your alter
I
ego?
clicked follow before I saw what was going on.
Hell no,
Chris, I first
I
thought-
don't have hair.
I actually first thought that was like Patrick Swayze or something.
I don't care, but I'm undoing that bullshit.
But if it's spelled with a Z at the end, that's wrong.
Yeah, and it wasn't.
What were you saying, Jeremy?
Oh my!
It looks like somebody from a
Or
vampire.
it's a woman.
Rich Valdes?
No,
A
the picture.
woman?
Rach, what we need to know about you now?
Is there something you want to? Is there something you want to tell us, Rich?
All right, this is a whole other show we can do.
I
Okay,
brave
ready?
this at night, you know.
No. Thank you again for putting the links up there because we're not going to the Google shit.
6 of them on here, and 2 of them are female.
Yeah, and in fact, Jen just put it in there, and on Facebook, it's everything Rich Valdes Demonology.
Thank you, Jen. Because this is some bullshit that's coming up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was wondering, like, what the hell is that supposed to mean?
I don't know. I have to be concerned now.
I hope it's not one of those.
Respectful to people. Irene, have you watched this show before? Not
I
to
actually
each other
wondered.
here. We're not.
Well, Rich, it makes you wonder. Maybe it's among those trolls.
It could be.
Exactly. That's precisely why.
Could be.
You know, I don't need that.
Now we know all sides of Rich.
Yeah.
Jen is wanting her Rich back right now. So, yeah, we're like 10 minutes over.
Oh no, we are way over.
Well.
We are way over that.
Where did tonight go? We never do this.
This is what happens when you get into very interesting and enjoyable conversations.
That's true.
right.
That is
Agreed.
very true, but that is not fair. Oh my
It was
God.
very.
Rich, I'm sorry.
You did give us
No
a lot of
worries.
insight. You and Sean did give us a lot of insight tonight, and I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
And I will let you know, I had told this to Eileen in a private chat
No,
earlier,
Brad.
that this is one of my more favorite shows I've been a part of. Because this is such a very interesting conversation because we're not only just learning about the show, but you guys are giving us information about what it really is like when it comes to doing exorcisms and things like that instead of the bullshit that the other people do.
Yeah.
And that's what
And
people want to watch is things they've seen and heard from the person themselves.
The intent behind this show is to show the real side, the theological side of the reality of demonic possession, not what you often see on other shows. And it's not considered paranormal. And I stated this earlier on. When it comes to demonic possession, attachments, infestations, oppressions, this is not paranormal. Please, people, stop saying it is. It's not. You need to actually call someone in that knows how to address a theological situation. So if you have Joe Blow that claims he's a demonologist because he watched a few episodes of Supernatural and he's got a shotgun with some salt in there,
That's it.
get rid of him because he's going to be a liability down the road.
Yep.
I could name a few people.
Yeah.
And that's actually very good information for the whole paranormal field.
Yes. Do your background, ask your questions, and please, by all means, don't take everyone's word at it.
Yeah.
Make them prove to you they are the real deal.
Yep. Thank you so much, Rich. Sean,
Yeah,
I know
you're
you're not still on.
We definitely need to get you guys back on this show again.
Let me know.
I want them on after it airs, just to.
That's what I was thinking.
Yes.
I got so many people asking me after it airs that I may not be able to, but we'll talk, and maybe the second or third episode, we can get more of the
I'd rather see it after all of them are done.
That's even better.
Yeah, that's even a better idea.
Well, you know I love you, brother.
Discuss. I love you too, hon.
Don't tell her that. Do you see her head just swell out of the camera?
Just how big is that?
Yeah. See?
right, get away.
That's what I'm trying to do.
No, we should just keep it that way. Just us speaking, and just have Eileen on the camera. Just that one shot.
No, you gotta do the hair.
No, wait. We go.
If
That's
I didn't
that's
get
the
it, I would have
inside
put that
joke.
on solo.
A
I guess
traveling
it is,
joke.
yeah.
It's a
Well, don't forget, we got a snapshot of that. Remember that, Jeremy? The snapshot of her face, like
We already did that.
All right. So,
all right.
Okay, so this has been a very enjoyable show.
Yeah.
Again, Rich, thank you so much. Shawn, wish you were still here. Great episode. I really enjoyed this one.
yes,
Thank you.
definitely.
Same
Sean,
here.
I love you. Thank you. Guys,
So-
Jeremy, explain for next week. For next week's
Everyone
episode.
and everyone in the chat. Have a great night. Peace be still.
Wow.
Everybody
Bye,
out there,
y'all.
thank
Good
you
night.
for playing along. Next week we have Ursula.
Ursula Bielski, Chicago Haunts Right, for the first time ever on any of these shows here on this network. And I got to say right now, I am super excited about, because Jeremy, you and I have been talking almost like for 3 years we've been trying to get her on.
Yeah.
We finally have the opportunity, so she will be on next week. It's going
You
to be
mean I
another
have to
great.
behave another night?
What's that?
You mean I have to behave another night? What's wrong with y'all?
I don't know.
Yes. Don't you know that woman?
No, seriously though, it's going to be really exciting.
One
Finally
more
having her
year
on,
and
so
I
it's-
can claim
we have to.
senility, y'all. Don't tempt me.
All right.
All right, so everybody,
Don't forget, Brett, be on July 32nd.
Great episode, great audience.
Yes,
We had a great
definitely.
audience tonight.
Yes.
And until next week, you guys take care.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.